Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday, which means it's Xbox Nation night. It is going to be a hell of a show. I have an incredible lineup here tonight. I'm very impressed. And it's hard for a guy like me to be impressed with myself, but I managed to assemble some of the best. And I'm very proud of myself. And you guys should be very thankful that we were able to get such an amazing lineup. I'm going to introduce everybody because obviously there's a lot of people in here tonight. I'll introduce the main cast. We've got the governor, GKB. What's up, bro?
What's going on, everybody? It's GKB. Be prepared. GKB is going to get fucking triggered tonight.
Yes, I can tell that's already going to happen. GKB came in ready. He's got the Red Bull in one hand. I can see it. You know,
I got the beers in my one hand, bro.
Oh, okay. he's ready, man. He's ready. She-Wolf, what's up?
Hey guys, not a whole lot, but I'm sure this is going to be an amazing show, so I hope everybody's ready.
Yes, my heart is beating fast right now. Feels like I'm on some meth or something. I don't know. But we also have Troll Hammer, who actually gave up his 21 Pilots tickets so he could be here tonight. What's up, bro?
I don't even troll that much. And you're the 21 Pilots fan. I don't listen to that garbage.
I don't know what you're talking about here. All I know is Hellheimer was singing some 21 Pilots.
I don't even know a single song by them, dude. So.
So what's up, bro?
Not much. Glad to be here. Like to have a lot of good topics to go over here today. So.
Yeah, and you definitely do troll. You charge people to go under your bridge. It's a fact. And GKB, you played Call of Duty 4 Remastered with me and him. Is he not the biggest troll ever?
Very funny, though.
Yeah, he's a damn troll. And we have Rand Al Thor, whose mic is on mute. So, there it is.
Well, I muted it. My phone was going off. Making his triumphant return to Xbox Nation.
The million.
What's going on?
Not much, man. How's it going?
Going good. You know, putting out videos, playing video games, getting gamer score. You know how I do.
Yeah, that's the life, man. That is. I mean, that's just, to me, that's fun. That's time well spent. So, very exciting. I have a good friend of mine from BGST. I think this might be the first time he's been on Xbox Nation, man. He's doing me a solid. I was like, hey, man, can you come help me out? I know you do like a million podcasts. Tim Dog, what's up?
What's up? Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. I'm happy to be here. A lot of stuff to talk about.
Oh, hell yeah. Thanks for coming on. And also, I got one more person. A lot of people actually requested this and don't know that Dealer used to be on this podcast, but he had problems getting into the getting in here, actually. So because of like his firewall or something. But he's here. What's up, Dealer?
Yeah. What's going on? It's good to be back. Yes, my internet did have AIDS, but now I think it's fine. And we're, like I said, it's good to be here. I'm prepared to take some of the best name calling there is in the comments. You know, things like duty head, fart knocker, booger sniffer, whatever you Sony dudes can come up with. Let's have fun with it.
Yes, and they are the intelligent group, and that's exactly what they will probably call you. So just be aware.
You're a duty head.
Yes,
you might get a death threat.
You're fat, Crapgamer. Take that. You're fat. Fatty. Fat.
Eventually, it took them like a couple years to connect the two, fat gamer, right? Like, they're like,
I mean,
I'm gonna call you both at the same time.
Hold on, I'll give you a good one. It's like you live up to your name. You're crap. You're crap. Okay, thanks, man. Thanks.
I haven't seen that 1,000 times.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. I mean,
crap. What do you expect?
Yeah, you're crap, man. You're crap. You really live up to your name, man. I bet you didn't know. Nobody's ever said that to you before. And I'm like, it's not like I didn't name myself that, but in an ironic way or a non-ironic way. If you kick my ass in a game, then hey, at least I live up to the name. If you get your ass kicked by somebody named the Crapgamer, then that's on you. So, obviously, the Scalebound stuff is something we're going to talk about, and we're going to jump into that in a minute. But there's a lot of these other little things that have come about because of the Scalebound stuff, and that would actually be a lot of the hate on Xbox right now. In the media and things like this, they've jumped back on the hate train. You've got your Angry Joes making videos. You've got if you look on N4G, it's like the ball. Can Sony or Nintendo save Scalebound? I'm not lying. These are some of the things.
The Axeman, Microsoft's IP.
The Axeman cometh. Is Phil Spencer the wrong man for Xbox? These are games.
I heard Phil Hatchet Spencer. Did you hear that one?
Yeah, Phil Hatchet Spencer. I mean, this is some of the stuff that we're seeing right now, and it is absolutely like some of the most asinine stuff I've ever seen in my life. And I did a video. Well, I've probably done a couple of videos, but the main thing is people have kind of reverted to that 2013 mentality. And 2013 called and they wanted that hate back because Microsoft has done nothing but goodwill for gamers. Yes, they've canceled the game. There's probably more to the story than what we know. Microsoft is the big corporation and people want to look down on them. I've never seen this type of hate or anything like that for any other company that has canceled the game, closed a studio, or done any of that stuff. A lot of people just think that Microsoft has to do everything exactly the way that Sony does it, which is not true. They don't have to do that. They don't have to. And I think that the media going out of their way to make Microsoft look bad, to make Phil Spencer look bad, to question that he's the man for the job and all this kind of stuff, it's complete nonsense. Because if we go back and look, we can see that things weren't so great with Don Matrick. Things weren't so, maybe some people like that whole Kinect thing. And I know, Rand, you were a big Kinect fan. But
yeah. What are we in alternate universe Xbox Nation?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look.
We're in bizarro Xbox Nation.
Yeah, but I mean, look, the funny thing is just the way that people just talk down on it. It's bad. It's, Xbox is done. That one game being canceled means that there's nothing good coming on Xbox now. It's worthless because guess what? That one game was the game that possibly PS4 fans were going to buy an Xbox One for, right? That was the game. I mean, lo and behold, the game that was going to bring the PlayStation fans to the Xbox brand was going to be Scalebound, but now they're not going to do it. And now all these gaming media sites that were all lukewarm on the game and said, meh, during the presentations are all like, how dare they cancel this game? This game was an absolute gem. Platinum Games can do no wrong. They do great games. It's amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. So just think thoughts on the media on this and how everybody's jumping on the hate train, not the whole Scalebound thing. I mean, if it's part of it, true, but just going around here. Somebody jump in. What's your thoughts? Go.
Go. You want to go?
No. Well, I might as well just quickly jump in here because I'm not going to have the whole big rant that I guess I'm sure a lot of other people are going to have. I'm kind of like, I wasn't really invested in Scalebound. It was obviously my most anticipated game. Don't get me wrong with that. But I guess it's kind of one of those, it's done, it's over, complaining about it's not going to bring it back personally for me. So I'm not going to stay butthurt over it because there's just not really the point for me. Where like, say for instance, Fable Legends, I actually played that game. I was invested in that game. And so, yeah, I was pissed when that game didn't come. Now, am I pissed at it, like that it's not coming? Yes, obviously I am really upset because it was an exciting looking game. It was something different. And I did want it to come, but I just don't have like, I guess the big, like me personally, I don't have like the same feelings as a lot of people when it comes to the, the cancellation. It happened. There's not much we can do about it, which sucks in the long run, but all we can do is just hold it to Microsoft and say, all right, you took this away. What are you giving us instead? Like, I want to see what is actually going to come. And it does make me a little skeptical about what can be canceled in the future now.
Okay.
Fair.
I think that's definitely a fair point. I guess I might as well dabble in the Scalebound stuff a little bit, dip my toe in. The thing with Scalebound is like people get the wrong impression when I say, or it's damage control, quote unquote, because I say, games get canceled, this stuff happens. I get it. I'm upset that it's canceled. I was looking forward to it. It was a game that was one of my most anticipated games. I was very excited for the game. It got canceled. There's obviously some stuff with the reasoning behind that, but the main thing is that this thing is not really as unusual as people would think. And for a game to get canceled, by the way, I mean it had to have been running pretty bad, in my opinion. So yeah. I mean, I do understand that people are upset because I'm upset, but at the same time, when us as Xbox fans are upset, it really feeds into the additional hate. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to tell if the Xbox fans are really upset, and I know some of them are, and then you have like the trolls and the haters and things like that, just using that as an excuse to hate even more, which is absolutely kind of ridiculous in my opinion as well. And I know I'm not the only one with these kind of strong opinions on it. So, I mean, some like Tim, I know you have a lot of thought about this. Come on, what's your thoughts?
Well, there's definitely a lot of hate, and there's a lot of people that want to put blame on Xbox and Phil, and you know, there's a lot to this story. There's a lot that I can't personally talk about. But there's some shit that's floating around about this that, if it breaks, it breaks. If it doesn't, it doesn't, because I feel like I'm willing to move on. I was never into this game, or really wasn't hyped about it. So I thought it was a good game to have for diversity, I guess, if you want to use that word, or people that want it. It obviously is getting canceled sucks. And, it opens a door for all this hate to come funneling in at Microsoft. But all I could say on the subject on that is that there's always two sides of the story. There's always things that happen, and things happen for a reason. And in this situation, I think that there's some pretty good reasons there. Like I said, I'm not at liberty to talk about, but, and I told that to Crap pre-show. And he was okay with that, because I told him that I can't really elaborate on it, but like I said, I don't really think Microsoft's always the bad guy. I feel bad for Phil. There is concern about future Xbox games after 2017. I took to Twitter today, and I think Phil fanned a couple of those fires down. Obviously, he's not going to announce games, but he did say that they're still going to look to create new games and be more careful about it, that type of stuff. And it is obviously a focus of theirs. So the thing with the hate, that's always been there. I read certain forums, or I see the shots taken, and it's nothing new to me. You become immune to it after a while, but it's just the way it goes with Xbox for whatever reason. Talked about 1,000 times. They get a lot of hate, but we don't know the story. If the story breaks and we know more about it, maybe we'll have more to talk about it. But all I can say is that I think that Microsoft is fair. And I don't think that they're trying to, bastardize these the devs working on games, whether it's Fable Legends, who they threw in $75 million and then had to produce a game that wasn't working well in 2015, and it sucked, and they closed the studio, probably because they don't want to manage studios. They might rather make games in other ways through second party or whatever. That's up to them to do, and that's what we come to expect as fans. So I don't think that they're going to stop making games. And in this situation, this is a deep situation right now. There's things that went on with this that I really don't. I can't fault Microsoft. You could fault Microsoft. Everyone that you could fault something, but it's not like they were being unfair. It's not like they were giving milestones at the end of the year that were too much or unattainable. They totally were attainable, and they weren't hitting them. And there might have been a reason for that. And with that being said, before you spew your hate and do all that you're doing now, maybe you should wait until the full story comes out. If it does, if it doesn't, you just move on. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, we said, you can get tapes of me on BGST. I remember talking to our good friend Mooch, and I said, and we were both talking about it, I said, this freaking game is not selling. I said, you want to be honest, this game is not going to sell.
We all said that. I
guarantee you, and I was just going to finish my point. If they let's just pretend that they saved Scalebound, and they did it. This game would get fixed or whatever, come out, and nobody would buy it. So that's the thing. JRPGs is just not. It's just Xbox is not for JRPGs. Japan doesn't make games on Xbox because the Japanese companies overseas, because they know people won't buy it. All right, people don't buy JRPGs on Xbox. Scalebound was going to be no different. It probably would have sold a little, even with the Final Fantasy 15. The sales are drastically contrasted by PS4. We don't buy those games on the system, and it's
Can I kind
proven.
of jump in right there,
Sure,
because that
go.
point that you brought up last night on Beastfire, where somebody had noticed that trend, and it is actually an overwhelming trend right now with pro titles. Skyrim did the same exact thing, and it's very simple. They want to see what Pro can do. They're going to buy their multi-plats on Pro right now, and you'll see the same trend with Scorpio. Mark my words, right? It's really common sense. So just like D, for instance, he's an Xbox dude, a Microsoft dude, but he noticed he's got a lot of multi-plats on PlayStation right now, and it's because he wants to see what that Pro can do. What did he spend that money for? That's the question, right? And in regards to things like Fable Legends, I do believe was, as a lot of people didn't care for it. Some people did. It looked beautiful from what I hear, but apparently the word was meh. And I think that eventually they got to the point where they said, you know what, we want to make a proper Fable game. If this is mediocre when it hits, it's a free-to-play. We don't want that stigma around. We've got enough of that right now, right? And that's what I think they're working on right now. And keep in mind, when people say, well, you don't got any studios to make that game, we didn't know about Black Tusk or any of these studios until around the Xbox One revealment. They could very well have a studio or two up and running that we don't even know about. Nothing's 100%. Though not extremely likely, I do believe that is the case.
They could have people off of Rare, and they also did rehire some people from Lionhead. And so they could definitely have some people just working at Rare as well in the corner, maybe 20, 30 people working on something. It would not surprise me at all if we saw a Fable reboot trailer at E3. You know what I mean?
And they do have two teams at Rare, actually.
Yes, exactly. And so we've heard multiple things that Rare is working on. So we don't know 100% there. The hate is unfortunate. GKB, what's your thoughts on the hate specifically? Because I know you've probably been seeing a lot of the hate as well.
Yeah, man, I've been seeing a lot of the hate, and I think that's unfortunate too. I really don't understand where people are coming from. I stated this on Twitter and everything too. Look, I'm pretty fucking upset about Scalebound. I really wanted that game. I mean, we could talk sales all we want to, but in the end, as a gamer, I think we all want this game.
Yeah.
But I think the hate is really unwarranted. And I don't know, man. I just want to
Isn't it extremely crazy that someone didn't catch as much hate for lying about 720p Killzone or 1080-60 Watch Dogs, or shutting down MLB The Show servers a year after it came out so people have to upgrade. Same thing with Gran Turismo. They didn't catch any of this, not even close to this degree, not even with their racist emails, if we're honest. It seems like
very true.
At the end of the day, though, one game doesn't make
cancellation.
At the end of the day, though, one game doesn't make or break fucking Xbox. It's not like, oh my god, fucking Xbox is going down the fucking drain because Scalebound's not coming out.
Look, that was probably my second most anticipated title for the year, but I'm not, I was upset about it, but I'm not gonna just be like, oh yeah, fuck Xbox now because of one game. I mean, you know how many games get canned every single year that we don't even know about? I mean, look at that Mega Bloks Halo game and all this other shit. I mean, that just happens at the end of the day with everything. I mean, any medium that you have, when you have, thousands of people and man hours going into something, there's a chance you're going to run into an issue that's unavoidable and something gets canceled. Movies, music. I mean, it doesn't, at the end of the day, that's just how it goes.
I don't know, man. I don't think games at the end of the day should be canceled. I think there's many other ways to negotiate the contracts and do things. I think canceled games should be the last and utmost thing you should do. I don't think that's the first thing.
Yeah, I agree as well. I mean, if they were going to do something with it, they already put all this money into it, even if they only made a bit of their money back by finishing it.
Exactly. I mean, that's kind of my point.
Better than just burning millions of dollars.
But the thing is that when you say that, let's just take a game, for example, like Scalebound. And this is not really a good example, but we're just going to take it as an example. To further development, to further market and then release it and then launch it and market it that, if the game, you could be just at say 40 million right now. For another 20 million, if you keep the project going, you have to recoup that now at the end. So it's not like the money just stops. What Microsoft did basically is said, there's no more money. We're not putting, they did it in both cases. We're not putting any capital into this at all, which then you don't take the hit as much. It's trying to complete it and then marketing it and then releasing it and doing everything that has to go with that. That costs money too. So
No, I totally get that.
I agree with what you guys are saying. The last resort is to cancel, and God, I hope this is the last cancellation, because the way people have acted and some of the stuff that you see, it's kind of really.
I mean, yeah, the other thing I want to throw out there too is that Platinum Games really, I mean, honestly, putting the any kind of faith into Platinum Games. I mean, generally, if you look through their list of their history of their games, it's all most of it's subpar stuff or niche titles like.
Excuse me,
No,
son?
it is.
Excuse me, subpar. Bayonetta, one of the masterpieces of the 360 era.
And Bayonetta was the one that I was saying.
Vanquish?
It's kind of a
One,
niche title. Vanquish was another one.
Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. No.
I thought Metal Gear was garbage.
And here, Platinum Games, mediocre.
Hold on. I will say this. Between the time that the development of Scalebound was happening, which apparently started in 2012, Platinum Games, which is a group of 200 developers, which, to be fair, that's how more people than that work on Halo at 343. So this is a group of 200 people who have worked on since the time that Scalebound started. Bayonetta 2, The Legend of Korra, Transformers Devastation, Star Fox Zero, Star Fox Guard, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutants in Manhattan, Nier Automata, Grand Blue Fantasy Project, Relink, and The Lost Order.
Yes, that brings up a good, interesting discussion point, because how the fuck do all those games get made and not Scalebound? Think about that.
Yes.
I still have the biggest issue, though, where this is with any company, and I've said this on a couple of other podcasts now. I just wish these companies would not release details, or at least so much details, of a game that they don't have full. Oh god, now what the hell's the word?
Fully running up and running, pretty much.
Yes. Like, if you are not completely confident in the game, then you should not promote it as much as they did. Like, we saw a lot, and the game pretty much did look like it was complete, like it could have came out. And then we get the whole, well, it's supposed to release in 2016, but we're going to hold it because our fall lineup is already too big. Like, that's what they came out and pretty much told all of us. But now all of a sudden the new year's here. Oh, no, never mind. We're just canceling it.
Yeah.
Like, I wish they would have actually confirmed a little sooner that, hey, we're having some issues. This game may not actually release or anything like that. Instead of making it just sound like the only reason it was delayed was because their fall lineup was too long. Like, they kind of did make some promises that obviously did not commit to, and if they weren't that secure in this game, they shouldn't have done and promoted it the way that they did.
Yeah, I don't think they expected it, to be honest. I don't think they expected to have to cancel this game at all.
Yes. See, that's the way. See, this is where, like I said, there's a lot to this story. Shout out to TIC. They mentioned it. They kind of have the story, but they're not going to publish it. And I understand why. But, there's a lot to this story that if you knew, it would make sense why. But they definitely thought the game was being made. It wasn't like they were pushing false promises.
Purposely.
Right,
yeah.
Well, I don't know. I have a different
you can't show a game in 2014 at E3, and then again in 2015 at Gamescom.
Well, what's Sony gonna do for the next 4 years?
They're not
about Sony. This is strictly about
I
Microsoft.
understand, but what you're saying is something that they have to do sometimes.
Microsoft. None of these games should be doing it. Fallout 4 is the greatest example of how games should release, because they literally brought out a teaser before E3, talked about it at E3, and then it was released November. That was honestly the best release because we didn't know about it. Everyone was completely thrilled about it, and then it was released.
Exactly.
But
it's a good point.
In gaming, though, like,
I want to go back to
a few games that could do that.
About like what he was saying about like the money and all that stuff, and I totally get you shouldn't pour more money into it, but at the end of the day, like I think Dealer even said this on his video, you can either recoup part of your money or zero of your money. And at the end of the day, I think Microsoft should have still got the deal done regardless. And I know what Tim's talking about as far as the news, and I personally don't think it's really a big deal. Other people might have a different opinion about that, but I don't think it's a big deal.
But let's just say that, okay, we can jump into Scalebound. Let's just say that originally their contract was signed for 3 years, and they had certain milestones they got to hit. This being funded by Microsoft.
Mhm.
After the third year, they're like, it's going to take another year. After the fourth year, they say it's going to take another year. And then they're like, it could take another 2 years. At that point, you have to start looking at it and saying, okay, well, what is the expectations for the returns on this? Why is this costing us so much money? You know what I mean? And then at some point, as a business, you have to make a decision, you know, and like a decision was made with Fable Legends, and I remember being so pissed about that. I remember being
Fable Legends, though, if they would have released it, say, in the preview program, I think they didn't give that game much of a chance. And to be honest, Scalebound, they should have done the same thing. If it was becoming a money issue, not necessarily saying I know any of the facts, I don't know anyone who has told me any of these facts or anything like that, but if it was coming down to, say, money-wise or whatever, they should have put it into the preview program and allowed fans to actually buy it, because they pretty much could have helped support get this game finished. Like, isn't that kind of what
at the end of the day, like,
preview is for?
You know, we're talking about delays and delays and delays, but another good one, like we talk shit about it all we want to, but fucking The Last Guardian, fucking 10 years, that shit still came out.
Yeah. It came out, but also, I mean, at what expense? And also, will there ever be a sequel to that?
That game actually sees production for a couple different years anyway. It wasn't constantly in development. They just said the fans want it, let's bring it back. And I think Crap really had a good point when he mentioned, you know, that ridiculous list of titles they have developed while working on Scalebound. That is incompetence, in my opinion. You've got you've got a pretty big team. And you're dividing them amongst all these titles. You've overstretched your capabilities, and your biggest customer is the one you're letting down year after year.
Well, and that's what I was getting to when I kind of made that mention about the kind of a mediocre studio. It wasn't that they had some good stuff early on, like Bayonetta and that kind of stuff, but again, a lot of those games were niche titles that they didn't sell extremely well.
They've never had a successful monetary hit.
But then you look at their recent stuff, right? You had that Transformers game, which was so-so. You had that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, which basically flopped. I mean, how can you flop a game on some of the biggest franchises in the world?
Because their C team made it. Because their C team makes garbage.
Okay, well,
and always has. But here's the thing. So game cancellations suck. They always suck. I wasn't excited for Scalebound. You guys know this. I was one of the first people out there saying this game's gonna fucking bomb. Like, I remember being Crap talking about this. I'm like, this game has bomb written all over it. Nobody's gonna buy this thing. But I understand there are people like K Mega, like XBot, there are people out there that were really looking forward to it, and I feel your pain. Like, I feel it, because, you know, I would hate if one of my, like, you know, game I was looking forward to, like, if Prey was canceled tomorrow, I'd be like pissed. That's my number one anticipated game.
Prey 2 was canceled.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about the current version of Prey. Like, look, we mentioned this before. They're not just out there, you know, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo. They're businesses. They have to get a return on investment. You know, Scalebound was supposed to be out in 2015, right?
Yeah.
Scalebound was then supposed to be out in 2016.
Yep.
Okay, Scalebound then supposed to be out in 2017. Problem is, like, at some point, you look at it and you realize the amount of money you poured into it, the amount of more money you're going to have to pour into it to get it out, is just not worth it anymore. There's a saying in business, you don't throw good money after bad money. So it was worth it more to Microsoft to cancel the entire project and never release it, you know, ever, to see the light of day, than to at least release it, try to finish the game off and release it and try to get some back, because they were going to lose their shirt on the game regardless. It's interesting.
For me, it's hard for me to talk about this, because I kind of feel like things that are relevant I have to bring up. But, you know, in actuality with this, at the end of the day, if that story breaks, it breaks, because I can't talk about this. It's totally irrelevant.
Holy shit. Like, dude, it's like, well,
I don't know.
I think that's the hard part about this whole conversation.
It's hard because there's something swirling around that they're not published. They're not going to go with it, and it might go away, but there's a lot to the story. That's all I'm going to say. And I don't think Microsoft was wrong. Put it that way. I mean, you're going to say Tim's the fanboy. The fanboy of this, I don't know.
I have a different.
I think Platinum are good. I think Platinum are good devs. I think 3 of the games they made are fantastic. Crap read the list off. Dealers said they're incompetent. They're not
To a degree.
incompetent.
To a
They're not-
degree,
they're
yes,
not
I think they are. They are
incompetent.
incompetent. If they
I
got
know,
8
they're
titles on their
absolutely-
plate, and they got a big AAA for the first predicted $1 trillion
Yeah.
company in the world,
I
competent to a degree.
I'd have to
I-
agree with
They
Dealer.
got
But, I
fired.
mean, why would you
They
take so
got
many projects on if you only have 200 people?
Well,
This
maybe
is
that,
good.
maybe,
Maybe-
Like
maybe,
trying to
maybe-
deadlift 800 pounds when you're, you can't touch
maybe
800
the question to be asked is, how are those other games getting finished and Scalebound wasn't getting finished?
Yeah, that's incompetence to me. I'm not saying
Yeah,
the
but
whole
they've been-
studio's horrible or anything. I'm just saying to a degree, that is a form of incompetence in my
Well,
opinion.
do you think
I
there's
don't know,
also a
man.
little bit of
I don't know their history. I know that they make good games. Every one of their games is metacritically high scored.
Well,
But-
not the Turtles one, not the
The
Transformers
Turtles one they delisted. What the fuck
Yeah,
happened there?
yeah.
What,
Well,
I mean-
they lost.
so-
The Activision, I think, lost the license.
Look,
on
the
that game.
Why did they
Wonderful
delist
101, that game was garbage. And that was a Kamiya, the same guy who was working on Scalebound, and that game was garbage on the Wii U. The funny thing is that I think that they're probably decent devs. And the whole reason I remember that they were teaming up with Microsoft was because they've never had what they said like a huge budget game that was successful in the States. And they were hoping Microsoft could help them achieve that. And then when you look at it at the end of the day, it doesn't look like that's, I mean, when you look at the game was having really bad frame rate problems the times we've seen it. It was a game that I was really looking forward to. It sucks that it canceled. It absolutely sucked. But the way that I see people acting, you're perfectly entitled to think that it sucks and be disappointed. I am
No,
with you on that.
The way
But-
that people are acting, it's like if they would have canceled the next Halo game or Gears or something.
Yeah, they didn't fucking cancel
That's the
Halo
way
or
people are
Gears.
acting.
I must be following different people than you guys because I really didn't see that at all.
I see
I'm
that.
following Xbox kids. They're like
Yeah,
it's
I've
done.
been reading Gaff. I have to admit.
Pretty
I'm
much
Literally.
common.
How many,
It's
have you guys heard this?
horrendous.
Literally, I've heard this a lot. Microsoft literally, quote unquote, has no games for the rest of you. Dry
Yep.
as fuck.
Yep.
Dry.
People
That's the
have
word I mean,
imaginary
dry. It's
friends
like a
at
fucking
Microsoft
desert.
now.
It's
Not
yeah,
knowing
bad.
that they've only got 2 confirmed exclusives for this year.
And I've also been hearing all this.
AAA
Microsoft, and
exclusive.
I also
correct
picked up
myself.
that Microsoft only has Halo, Gears, and Forza.
yeah.
Conversation picked back up too.
Right. Here's
Or
the
that
thing.
Halo's gonna have no single player.
Yeah.
And
and-
Gears is gonna have no single player. It's a paid service. So there's a lot of bullshit going around.
Good point, Tim. Hold on. You made an excellent point in BGST about that. Explain this games of service thing because this is something that's going around. Of course. as
Well,
soon-
that's just made up shit. That's
I
like
know, I know.
Gaff fucking theorizing. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Listen. The
There's
funny
a lot
thing
of
is-
lies. There's a lot of lies out there because of this. It's like, we're talking about lies. It's made
Yes.
up, you know?
Listen. As soon as this came down the pipe that Microsoft had canceled this game, all of a sudden, these pro PlayStation guys that pretend that they're quote unquote neutral. These who are some of them? The Z Hughes and the Shinobis. These guys are PlayStation fans. All of a sudden, they're worried about the direction of Xbox. But they
Concerned
weren't.
trolling.
Yes, but they weren't worried about the direction of PlayStation the previous 4 years.
Yeah.
When
Well,
when
Hughes is the
PlayStation
one that came up with the idea as games as a service. I'm blocked, but I actually came across one of his tweets, and
I'm blocked too, but his tweet made a story on M4G.
yeah, but
Yes,
they took it. I'm telling you, that's NeoGAF. That's what.
Keep in mind, guys, that this is the same place that said PS4 Pro is really 5.5 teraflops.
Yeah,
And
they
it
take
has
Yes,
to
red
do-
pill, blue pill.
the way he
Okay.
comes off of that after I
It's the
told
same
him,
exact
hey,
people spewing
like,
this out.
dude.
They have no credibility.
they're taking the power supply out. They actually had the media believing it. Fucking assholes.
Hey, so there's over 400 watching. Thank you guys. Hit the like button. I would appreciate it. It helps out the
Hit that
channel.
like button.
Hit the like button. You're getting Halo. You're not getting Halo 6 You're only getting multiplayer.
Yeah, it's only Halo 6 is going to be only
Yes,
multiplayer.
You're gonna go online and you're gonna be Halo. You're gonna be
Yes.
Mr. Chief. There's no
Yeah.
story.
There's no more lie. There's no more buck. It's just your
There's
Master
gonna be-
Chief.
They're sending you a
in the
helmet.
multiplayer. Yes, it's
Multiplayer.
yeah, okay. So anyway, this is the thing, right? Like there was no less than 3 of these articles up where people like Z Huge and Shinobi are like, I'm really worried about
I really like Xbox.
I really like Xbox. I mean, I've talked shit about it nonstop, and I'm always like, fuck Xbox. And I blocked anybody with an M in their name, but I'm really worried.
That emoji's evil. Anybody see them will sway away.
Yes, but I'm really worried about them as games as a service. And then people are like, you know what? It's right. They're totally going for games as a service. And I'm like,
you're going to be paying microtransactions for everything.
Yeah, and then so you go in there and there's like all these lists of games, and they're like, look, Microsoft only wants games that you support long term with DLC and microtransactions. They're gonna drop all single player games. The sky is falling, chicken littles everywhere, dogs and cats copulating. It's crazy, people. But
after the Last of Us DLC, I don't even fucking talk. Jesus.
Yes.
They were led by Coach.
Crackdown 3 is a game that should be online only, and it has a single player. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, coming up next now is the new Halo game. You have to play a microtransaction even just to play one round.
Yes, it's ridiculous. I know you're like making a joke, but that's probably something that Gaff would run with.
I know.
Here's the thing, right? So they're like games as a service, and I'm looking over. I'm like, games as a service. They just released the Xbox One S. They're releasing the most powerful console ever made this year.
And that's they're definitely afraid of.
Yes.
They're afraid of emojis now.
Not only that, but I look over and I think games as a service, and I think PlayStation Now. That's games as a service. You don't even need a goddamn console to play that shit.
Yeah,
you don't need a PC to play that shit.
That is the definition.
Released on one day, the whole fucking console.
That's games as a service.
I played through The Last of Us without even owning the PlayStation.
Games as a fucking service. That's it. You can play that shit on PC, and eventually Sony's going to put the PS4 games on there too. Don't kid yourself into thinking it's not. But nobody says, I'm worried about the fucking future of PlayStation, and that's what fucking pisses me off to no goddamn end, because the PlayStation, they're the ones that paid $400 million for a service to have games as a goddamn service. And then you look over and then you say, okay, well, if Microsoft was really going to do this, why would they can a game that was as a service like Fable Legends? Why would they can a game like Project Spark, which was a game as a service? Why would they can Xbox? What the hell is that workout shit? Xbox Fitness, which I'm desperately sorry that they did. I mean, I had my goal of losing like 2 pounds this year, but that shit ain't happening. Yes, dude. Low goals, people. Low fucking goals.
Keep them going.
Exactly. Exactly. So yet they cancel these things that were perfect for games as a service, and yet they're going 100% games as a fucking service. Oh shit!
Crap. You could have stopped.
That was a great rant.
You could have stopped
a great one.
at PlayStation Now. I can literally play almost all of their IPs on my Samsung TV through PlayStation Now. That is the definition of games as a service.
Oh yeah, that's. I mean, I
but
posted
that's the type of
screenshots.
stuff that we've been hearing. That's like GKB. You were saying you haven't really seen it. I've seen it. There's been a lot of crazy.
All day in the comments, man.
I don't follow like any of these like crazy people or anything like that. So I
don't either. I just have to.
They better.
They come to you. They will come to your channel and comment. Trust me, they don't care. They'll hunt you down.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well, what's funny is I get the people that are like, "Hey, I'm an Xbox guy," and then I'll always
do I say, "Hey, I'm an Xbox"?
Hey, I'm an Xbox guy. They say this to me. They tweet this shit to me. And Tim, I see you deal. This is a constant fight. You got 10,000 followers. I'm like, you don't even have a fucking YouTube channel, and you've got like 4,000 more followers than me. It's insane. And I'm like, I'm always seeing Tim, and I like usually don't join in. I'll like some of the stuff that he tweets out or whatever. But people are always coming at Tim. And it's usually like some NeoGAF person or whatever. Some Nintendo guy. Nintendo guy.
Yeah, I've seen the Nintendo guy.
All fucked up.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, and then or they'll say this: I'm an X-Bone fan, crap, but I gotta admit, they're dying this year. And I'm like,
everything that they say is down a Sony line or down where it is. It's never always against Xbox. I mean, it's like so obvious.
Yeah, or that they're like this. Hey, crap, I'm definitely an Xbox guy, but Microsoft really needs to step up their game. It's always just Halo, Gears, and Forza crap, and then I check their thing and it's like PS4 share, PS4 share, something from
Chuck follow everyone. Oh, this guy. Yeah, he photoshops my pictures. He likes him. This guy photoshops. Oh, he's following him. Okay,
Yeah, so you see
know who's who. You know who's who. That's the thing. I don't care who you are. You know who's who. There's always a thing you like.
It takes me literally 2 seconds to look at your profile on my phone and see that you're not an Xbox guy. And first of all, if you hated Gear, like this is the thing. I buy a fucking Xbox for Gears, Forza, and Halo. Yes, the other stuff is cool. I love it. They put it out. People aren't buying it. They're saying, I want other shit besides Gears, Forza, and Halo, but then they aren't fucking buying it. So stop complaining that you want other shit.
If it was constant Gran Turismo sequels and on The Last of Us and Uncharted every other year, they'd be happier. They'd be bragging about it.
Well, the Last of Us doesn't need sequels because it's already been remastered 100 times. So.
Yes. It's been not only was it remastered, but they released the DLC as standalone, and then everybody counts it as a fucking game. You know what I mean?
They tried doing that with Uncharted last night.
Yes, Infamous First Light. They count that as like its own game. It's like DLC, and this Uncharted thing, it's going to be like a 4-hour DLC or whatever, and they count it as its own game, and they're perfectly fine with it. Like Gran Turismo 8, they're fine with it. If that was the case,
we would count Blizzard Mountain as its own game, right?
Exactly. Or even, I don't even count the Fast and the Furious DLC as its own game, and it technically is. I mean, you get a whole 1,000 just by playing it. So, but I never add that as an exclusive or anything. They do. They're like, we got that new Uncharted game. They're fine with getting 6 Uncharted, 6 God of Wars.
We just got a new Forza game then, Blizzard Mountain.
Yeah, so they're fine with getting. There's literally 13 Ratchet and Clank games that have come out. That's no lie. Look it up.
If that were the case, we would have counted each of the Witcher DLCs as separate games. Those are like 30 hours.
To your point where you're saying Halo Gears, the thing is that when Scorpio hits, Xbox is going to get. I think their games output's going to be a little light going into E3, but they're going to get Scorpio, and I think that's going to change. I think people are going to realize you do get, games. We're going to learn more about the new games if they have them, or in 2017, and I think they'll have a big 2018 if Scorpio is successful. But you're going to have that. You're taking that back, and with all Xbox offers, with the online, with everything about Xbox, it's a good deal. You get all the multiplats run better. You get 4K more often.
So much crow is about to be eaten, bro. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think people are really, at this chance that Scorpio will do very well, and I hope it does. But the doom and gloom, this doom and gloom. Can you give it a break, guys?
They say there's no one's gonna buy the Scorpio, but people bought the Pro for increased performance. That's what sold the PS4 for the first 3 years.
Like power.
Scorpio is much more powerful.
Not to mention
they didn't. Sony sure as hell didn't mention in their press release though.
No, Sony didn't mention.
Like Phil was on Twitter, like talking about like if he was going to have another event, and he was kind of like, maybe not kind of thing. So with Scalebound not coming out and all that kind of stuff, that knocks another thing off. So are we kind of in consensus that we're going to see Scorpio at E3 and not games at that point?
I think there's going to be I think there's going to be a pre. I love this. Like people watch it and they tweet us stuff. Like,
did you see it too?
Yeah, Jamie Moran just tweeted one. He's like, "When I'm an Xbone fan, but," and then also Mike Moreo. Hey, I'm an Xbone fan, but Microsoft is doomed. Yeah, I get that too, man. Like that's how you can tell. It's like, you know what? I realized that some of the some PlayStation guys are just fine. They're just gamers. They like to play on a PlayStation. You're cool. Thumbs up for you guys. But then there's the really retarded ones that are like, I'm an Xbone fan, yo. And totally.
I love Xbox.
Yeah, I love Xbox.
But here's all the shit that's wrong with it.
I love the Xbone, but they have no variety. And all they do is Gears, Forza, and Halo. And I'm like, but there's no mainline Gears or Halo this year.
We should really launch the opposite camp. I love PlayStation, but they have no online or this or that.
It's a huge year for Microsoft, though.
Dealer, you hit something on the head today that I've been trying to say for a long time. Whenever I talk to a PlayStation fan and they list their list and it's 90% Japanese games, that's not my thing. If it's your thing, cool, right? Why is it not okay for me to say that doesn't float my boat? But when I bring up Halo Wars, State of Decay, Forza, Gears...
By the way, State of Decay, a lot of people still think it's an arcade game. It's a full-on AAA with Unreal Engine 4 and everything, man.
Yes,
so, yeah, exactly. I get it. You'll say Halo Wars 2, and they'll say, I'm not into that. You got to think and shit on that game, and I don't like that.
State of Decay, the game line is real fun, in my opinion.
Go
on.
I'm just gonna say exactly. Like it's okay for them to not be into those Xbox games, right? But then for us to say hey, I'm not really into Nier Automata and Niho and these games. Like, totally, I must be lying or damage controlling.
I'm gonna throw this out here too. Many of those JRPGs and stuff are sequels.
I have no
sequels of
interest in
sequels.
I'll tell you
good
straight
point.
from go. JRPGs is something I played as a kid, and they never really evolved to me. They're just the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't really like them. I played Final Fantasy 15. I think that's the best you're going to get from a GP. Like, that's a good JRPG, but
To
That
me,
is.
you've got to match The Witcher 3 and being an RPG for me to really brag
that's not even close.
anymore.
Witcher 3, the bar is fucking.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
It's
It's gonna be
pretty hard
hard
to
for
hit it.
anybody to hit it. Yeah.
There hasn't even been anybody that's even come close yet.
These
So.
little, Chop Suey 74 and whatnot. It's like, get out of here. The Witcher done crushed you 80 times. Ain't happening.
Well, I don't know. I do want to talk about Scalebound being canceled because we haven't done it on this show yet. Again, you're totally in the right to be angry. You're totally okay to be disappointed as Xbox fans. If you're a PlayStation fan, you said the game was dog shit. I want to point out that the media was completely lukewarm on this game since day one and said it didn't look interesting. I remember complaining about that when they showed it at Gamescom, and people from like Game Informer were like, meh.
Yeah, people didn't care. Like the media didn't care for the game at all. Now all of a sudden they're acting like we just canceled the biggest game to ever come out.
They did the exact same thing with Fable Legends, though. Nobody cared about it, but then when it was announced that it was canceled, everyone was like, "Oh my god, I wanted that game so badly."
But the thing with Fable though was that it had that Fable name, regardless of whether it was like a Fable or not. So that was what.
Well, I'm just using it as an example, though, that people tend to complain more about something after it's gone just because of the drama.
Oh yeah,
People just like to complain. That's the whole thing. People just like to complain.
But Fable got that hit because of the name that was on it. This is a game that basically was unknown.
It's the same exact reason Angry Joe's bitch ass made a video. Click. All right.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything about Sony trademark and Let's Play, something that would really affect him as a big YouTuber. And he goes out of his way to complain about UWP, even though developers like Shovel Knight love UWP. He goes out of his way to complain about Scalebound, a game he didn't even know had co-op. He didn't even look at it or talk about it before that video, and the video was completely ingenuine. It was all about clicks, and that's why they do it. We all know that.
Yeah, that's why Angry Joe. I like Angry Joe because I'm sub to his channel.
I was a fan of
I used to like his content way back in the day. But there's a reason why Angry Joe watches movie trailers and does commentary nowadays.
Yeah, he's done trying.
Like I used to quite like him, but man, the Scalebound, like, we'll get back to the real issue, Scalebound.
Yeah, Scalebound.
It's just a sad situation. There's no other way around it. It's just a sad situation, not only for Microsoft, for Platinum, for fans of the game, for fans of Xbox, for gamers in general. It's just fucking sad, dude. It's just really, really sad. And She-Wolf mentioned this earlier, and I want to, like, you guys know I'm not a fan of how Microsoft or Sony, well, Microsoft before Phil and Sony now. Like, Sony's all about the hype show at E3. They're all about getting you excited for the potential future of
3.0, etc.
Of their brand, where Microsoft used to do that as well. But like Phil came in, he doesn't like showing things too far in advance, and really that has happened. Recore a year in advance, State of Decay 2 a year in advance, right?
Sunset Overdrive even was a year in advance.
I think it was 2. It was
no, they showed it off. They showed it off at E3 2013,
and
then they actually showed the actual gameplay at E3 2014, and it came out 2014.
Yeah.
Don't all agree with me at once, bitches.
I think 2016 was a great example of how to do it. They unveiled 2 unannounced AAAs and released it a few months later in Forza Horizon 3 and Dead Rising. I think that was great.
Yes,
They'll probably do it again this year.
I prefer it like that. Look, Phil even says he's learning on the job with this stuff. He was tweeting today, took to Twitter, was really talking to the fans and things like that, because fans are like, "Hey Phil, are you still going to take risks on new IP?" And he's like, "Yes." Are you cutting out single player games?
No more. Yeah, when there's single player games, gotta go.
I think it's been a rough time, probably for him.
I don't know. Like,
he's such a nice guy, and that's a tough thing to do.
Go ahead, Governor. What's up?
I think, like, I mean, I get what he's saying about, like, people are asking about taking risk and all that kind of stuff, but I don't think really the community is worried about him taking risk. I really think at the end of the day, he's going to get whatever game he can for the Xbox community. But I think the community's worried and kind of shaky right now if he's going to actually follow through with these games and they're going to see fruition. And I think that's kind of where the community's coming from. Not really that he's going to take risks. I think we all know he's going to take risks. But are the games going to get finished?
But to his credit, he did come out well before this cancellation and said most games never see the light of day. Most of them don't, and that sucks.
Yeah, but they also didn't get it shown off for 4 years either.
Yeah, but again, like, how was he to know that what would happen with, that the developer would drop the ball or they'd become a money?
You know what really sucks about this conversation is we can't talk about something.
I know.
It really fucking sucks.
I know. But here's the thing, right? Like, Phil the Axe Man. Come on. Listen, Phil the Axe.
But doesn't it come back to the fact that we don't know the whole story, regardless of what is going around the social media, without actually being in the conference room when they decided to stop this game? We don't know exactly what happened, because you also have the developer tweeting out saying that some of the things that Microsoft is saying was a complete lie.
Yeah.
So it's hard to really define exactly what it is.
There was some weird rumors about him mental health, the Camille or whatever, and he's come out no, that didn't happen.
Yeah, well, people did apparently take the heads of the project took a month off.
I mean, he's saying he didn't though.
People can fucking take time off. When you work for a job, you get vacation time. That's allowed. People being they took a month off, they need to get fired. That's a little fucking ridiculous.
No, I don't think that was their main title they were working on.
Yeah, I don't think they need to get fired, but it is funny that they were able to push out these other games at a time when they were supposed to be catching up on Scalebound. I mean, I think it's a priority thing.
I don't know, man. I have we talked about this before the show. I have a different perspective about the whole thing.
Yeah.
When you look at game development, Insomniac and all these other guys that have A and B teams, and they shuffle people around. They do different things. If they're behind, they're going to put more people on another project. And also, I don't think all these contracts were signed at the exact same date and they all started at the same time. They're all in different phases of development. And I think when one game's getting close to being finished, they should prioritize that. But again, I don't run Platinum Games. None of us do. So they kind of do things however they do things. And Microsoft didn't like it, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it was Microsoft's call. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, he's right. It was definitely a break-off an agreement. So
yeah. Well, I mean, look, not everything works out right. I mean, that's life. That's and especially video games.
But I think the ones that really get the shit end of this whole thing is us, the gamers, and the ones that we're really looking forward to the game.
Well said.
Yes, we get screwed out of it due to whatever bitchiness.
It also has future impacts too. Sorry about
that.
Does have future impacts.
When I was talking before, my dog interrupted me, and I go take him outside because the bathroom. But this not only has an immediate impact of no fucking Scalebound, which is terrible in my opinion. Even though I wasn't excited for the game, I was gonna play the game. You guys know me; I play fucking every game that comes out. I'm currently playing Batman: Arkham Asylum Remastered.
I saw you. That game's awesome.
So good.
I always see you playing oddball games, Rand. So.
It is not a D-Master.
Hey, you know why I play oddball games now? Because I finished all the AAA games already. Now, I'm waiting for Resident Evil 7 and all that stuff.
When it really goes back to this topic, though, does it not make all of us as gamers kind of question whether or not what is going to come out?
Well, okay, that was the point I was about to get to. That was just about the point I was getting to. It's so the immediate, I was going to say benefit, but it's not a benefit. The immediate is that we don't get Scalebound, right? But let's just say Microsoft threw $60 million at that game, right? Whatever the number is, 30 million, 60 million, 100 million. Phil's got to go to his boss and they need more games, but now his bosses might be like, we just gave you $60 million for a project and we saw literally zero return on investment.
Yep.
Nah, Phil, you know what? That new game you wanted to build, maybe that one studio you wanted to do, maybe that new IP you're talking about. We need to see some growth. We need to hit some of the targets we've been talking about. So now future problems might arise because now the top, his boss and then his boss's boss may not be willing to be like, yeah, you know what, Phil, that sounds like a great risk to take. Here's the money to do it. Now they'd be like, nah, sorry. Look what happened to Scalebound. We're not willing to to give that money right now.
Well, that kind of comes back to also Fable Legends is another one that fell short. There's Below that we got delayed indefinitely. So,
But they say it might come out this year.
well,
we'll
okay,
see.
so but how much can we really trust that now? It's just kind of like Cuphead as well. We
I
keep
think-
hearing that it's coming, but are we actually 100% sure?
They
Like,
said,
Mid 2017.
yeah, they press released it to come out this year. So I mean, look,
I mean, they've canceled like a few games. We're acting like they canceled 10 games. You know, Phantom Dust was confirmed today on Twitter by
It's just
Shannon
tough.
Loftus.
It's just tough.
Shannon Loftus said today that Phantom Dust is in the pipeline and it's doing great. They're actually that's not canceled. A lot of people think it is. You know what I'm saying?
That's my point though, Dealer, is like you brought up Phantom Dust, and that's a fantastic topic to get on. You know, Phantom Dust has been in production probably just as long as Scalebound has. Like it's been through another developer
they
now.
fired the first team. It was a similar deal where the first team they paid them a bunch of money. Phil went in and they tested it out, and it was not what they
But what I'm
asked
saying
for. It
is-
was not
But what I'm saying is they
satisfactory.
didn't stop throwing money at it. They didn't cancel it. They're just pretty much on a delay.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
I
where
agree.
I kind of have
That's
beef
not-
with this whole thing.
no. That's not what's happening with Phantom Dust. They were building a brand new game. Like the original team that was building Phantom Dust was a brand new game set in the universe, kind of based off the first game, but completely brand new.
Okay.
They scrapped it completely. Hired a different studio to remaster the original Xbox version. There's nothing new about this new Phantom Dust. It's just a remaster that
that's all it is.
apparently, according to my Twitter, everybody fucking hates remasters. So
So why are they doing it?
why are they doing it?
Because
Probably because
it's just,
probably because they felt that getting people's hopes up for Phantom Dust and then canceling it right after the CGI trailer was maybe they probably wanted to throw a bone to people.
Regardless, but my point still stands. Is like they threw a bunch of money about the new IP of Phantom Dust. They shit canned that. Okay, and now they're remastering. So they're still throwing money at Phantom Dust, right?
Yeah.
But they won't do the same for Scalebound.
Well,
I think
Scalebound's
they
gonna
just
be-
didn't have the developers
I don't really
available
think
to
it's a weird
create a proper
situation,
Phantom
honestly.
Dust sequel or
Well,
anything.
I mean, the
think
only reason
really
Phantom
don't.
Dust is getting a game is because there's the original version of Phantom Dust to do. There is no original version of Scalebound.
not only that, if you look at what Shannon Loftus said last year when they brought up Phantom Dust, the remaster, she said that they had found some extra money, just a little bit of extra money in the budget for that.
Yeah, it's
so
called
And it's-
Microsoft's bank. Like,
And it's
yeah, they
entirely
got money.
entirely possible, GKB, that they since Microsoft owns Scalebound, the IP, and they
Do
hired
we know that for sure?
Yes,
he
they
just went, like asked them straight out, "Do you own the IP?" And they're like,
They
"What
own
am I
the
talking
IP.
about?"
They
own
own
the-
it.
I'm
You
just
can look it
say
up.
they own the IP. So let's just they probably own everything, the engine, the assets, all that shit that Platinum Games created. They probably will retake that back. And is it possible they could turn that into a different game?
no way.
No.
No way.
Possible? Probably not likely. But
No,
I mean,
their engine.
it's the same thing with Fable Legends. Everybody, I've been hearing for days now. Fable Legends or Fable 4 is going to come back, and they're going to turn it around quickly because they'll just use all the re-assets from Fable Legends. But the problem isn't necessarily that. It's like what She-Wolf said at the beginning and what I kind of alluded to before I had to leave. It's that the problem is stop showing your fucking games 3 fucking years before they're fucking supposed to come out.
But
Yeah,
sometimes you
stop
have to do
Ubisofting
that.
us.
But that's like you look at everyone want games. If they're going to be honest, then they're going to just probably announce one game. Where if you want to stretch it and make announce something else and have start development, you could do that
Right.
too.
I don't like
Games though.
I know
They're probably not going to get it.
Microsoft. I know Xbox has to sell the Scorpio, and they got to sell gamers on the idea of why they need to pick it up. And yeah, to do that, you got to diversify yourself and make yourself different from Sony. And you do that by hey, this is what we got in development. This is what we got in development. This is what we got in development. But I can't fucking stand it, and I can't stand
It's
CGI
hard
trailers
to predict the industry
because
right now, though.
you're right, because Microsoft thought the industry was one thing, and then it changed on them, and now suddenly the industry is Overwatch and loot boxes and fucking microtransactions up the wazoo.
Well, it's
and
up
Year Pass.
for grabs. The industry. I don't
And
know. I
like-
think they should.
I don't know.
Listen, you could fix it if you hire people. You start. If you hire people and start studios and build that first party, people would accept that.
I mean,
They-
but honestly, Tim, look like
that's
this.
probably if you guys want games, that's probably the smartest way to do it.
If Microsoft knew Scalebound wasn't going to be ready until 2018, do you think they show it off in 2014?
No, but they can't know that though.
But how do you,
I understand that, but the only
that's what's
reason
hard
they
about
showed
this.
it off. But my point is, the only reason they showed it off in 2014 is because they probably fucking thought the game was going to be done in 2015.
Not only
Here's the
that,
thing, though. Like going forward, like
Yeah.
we're getting these new consoles, 4K 60, blah blah blah. Do you think development times are going to stay the same? No, they're going to be fucking longer. So the only way they're going to get hype is to show games earlier. That's going to be a simple fact. Like that's going to happen. So this shit is going to be.
I don't think.
Yeah,
I disagree with
think
that. Yeah.
I don't disagree with it.
I think in a year, ahead of time, I think that they, see how they do in a year and ahead of time. I think that the next E3 that they're gonna have a solution, because if they don't do what you need them, we're gonna figure it out, and I think that they're gonna come up with games somehow, and I think that if the Scorpio hits and they get money, they will throw money at it. Right now, it's just I don't see. If I'm being honest, I don't see a big E3 for games. I see it hardware based most, and it'll have a couple of games. Probably get the Playground game. They'll probably announce something, and
do
that'll
you think the Playground game is going to be exclusive, or do you think that's going to be multi? Okay,
I think it's going to be exclusive.
Do you think it's going to be racing, or do you think it's going to be something else?
I think it'll have racing with fucking you get out of the car and smash somebody in the head.
Are they ready to show that though?
I don't know. That's what they could create.
I mean, I
think
know
they're
they're
gonna-
making one, but are they ready to
I
show
wouldn't
that
know,
off?
but
I mean,
if you
okay.
could announce it, if you
On
announce it
this-
3 years, that's fine. I wait
Hey,
for that.
450
On this-
watching, 200 likes. Are you serious? What the hell's wrong with you people?
On the scenario of what you guys just talked about with Scorpio, I think it's very telling what Microsoft does with the reveal of Scorpio, right? If they reveal it beforehand, they might have a lot to show at E3. But if they don't, and if they pigeonhole the reveal of Scorpio in E3, which is probably going to have to look, you're going to need a lot of time to show off Scorpio and what it does and why you need to buy it and stuff. I think if they pigeonhole that into E3, me spitballing here, maybe they don't have a lot to show then. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Phil on Twitter today was even saying that they don't even know yet. So
That's why I say hold it. If that's the case, hold it. You don't.
Well,
I mean, even if he did know, he wouldn't say it.
Well, yeah, I know.
He
But I
knows
would love
it.
for
He knows
Scorpio
it.
to get
He's
revealed
fine. He
beforehand, because honestly, I've been saying from the start, I don't fucking give a shit about the hardware. I don't care. I want the games. The games are the most important thing to me. It's why I fucking play. It's why I play, as Hellhammer said, oddball games.
I agree with you on that one.
And
Their job is to
I don't
worry about the
care.
hardware.
I don't care
Our
that the
job is
Xbox One is 1.3 fucking teraflops and the PlayStation 4 is 1.8. I don't give a shit that the fucking Scorpio is the most
but they can
powerful
market
system
4K.
ever made. I want to know what I'm playing on that system, when I'm going to get it.
Yeah,
at
it doesn't matter
what
about
price.
4K 60 and all that stuff. There's nothing.
don't give a shit about
But I
it.
do think that they're not. They're gonna have games. They're gonna have Halo 5. I can tell.
Understand?
They
I
can-
get
they
it.
can
Yeah,
predict
I know.
right now. I mean, it's not hard to predict.
You're
Look
right,
at
but people, I can tell, but I'll tell you right now, and you guys will all agree with me. If all they show is Halo and Gears, like you just said, Tim, people will fucking tear that conference apart.
Oh yeah.
Who cares? I don't.
This is why. I
They're
mean,
tearing
they're.
everything apart. It's the end of the world at Scalebound.
Rand, we
Xbox.
talked about this in a party already, that we know they're going to have a pre-E3 reveal, right? Just like Xbox One, the OG one, right? They got to unveil how it's going to work, why you should get it, how the back compat's going to work. Obviously, it may even be emulated Xbox One original titles, because apparently there's a lack of ESRAM on the Scorpio, so that causes some, obviously need for emulation of some kind, as well as how VR is going to work. That's too much to cover at E3. So they're going to have a pre-E3 conference. And at E3, as I just covered today, there's plenty of shit that they're going to cover, games coming out. And last year they revealed 2 AAAs that came out in the same year. I'm not thinking they're just going to say, okay, we know Gears 4 is going to have a 4K mode. We've already had that confirmed by Rod Ferguson. We've already had Playground Games talk about being happy they have 4K assets ready for the PC.
I mean, look, we already know that the stuff that's out now is going to be 4K because the PC.
Exactly, a
version-
lot of that's going to get support,
Anything
right?
that's
And in
CW
regards to 4K 60, I kind of got to say this, because just because something runs at 4K 60 does not mean development times are longer.
No.
It's actually faster. It's actually faster developed for PC right now than any console out there, and those games are ramped to the max. We have all seen it for probably in here, right? Those are the best looking games on the planet right now, and you get all those features, and it's the quickest platform to develop for them with UWP and all that shit. It's even quicker to port to Scorpio than it is the Xbox One. It's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
I disagree.
yeah, I think Dealer hits that pretty good though, right? Because a lot of the 4K assets and stuff, especially on third-party games, already exist if there's a PC port.
Yeah, but you're talking about like a new piece of hardware that developers haven't even got their hands on to optimize for it.
That's what
You're
they
just
said. Though.
saying-
With UWP, it's 95.
We haven't even seen UWP yet at anything.
Oh yeah, yes we have. Gears of War 4
UWP
was
all over the
an
place.
amazing example of UWP. Forza Horizon 3 was another
Quantum Break
example.
apparently too. That was
Yeah,
one of the
but
first
that was the
ones.
early days. That was
Right
the
now.
early days.
Yeah,
That was the
Quantum
early
Break was
days,
an
so-
early one, but
Yeah, yeah.
I'll say this, like Gears 4, that game scales super well. I've tried it on multiple different
It's
computer
very
systems,
well optimized. It
and I've
reminds me
tried
of
it on the
Battlefield 1,
Xbox
as a
and
matter of
everything
fact.
else. It works
Yeah, but
great.
again,
It runs
guys, you're
everything.
talking about first party that's already working on this stuff, right? We're not talking about third party. They don't have the dev kit. They said they're just going out now. Like, we see this with
Well, I
every
don't know about that.
generation.
I don't even
100%
think the
either,
dev
because
kits are out.
Peter Moore
Yeah,
has
they-
already
they-
kind of commented on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, they say they're going out to the masses in February, which if you look at the PS4 Pro, they only had them out for, I think, 3 to 4 months ahead of time. So this will put them out well ahead of that. And again, like the architecture that they're working with is like the PC stuff. They've already said that they're going to be using the PC stuff for Scorpio. So
Yeah, they've confirmed that.
yeah, so and you know what? I think we're going to see more on it because GKB, I saw your question to Phil about the architecture being used, and he's like, we'll talk about that later. So to me, that sounds like they have a, because I'm always lurking. So yeah, that sounds to me like they're going to have a, and I heard as much anyway, that they're going to have a event for Scorpio, and it makes sense because you're only allotted 90 minutes at E3, and you're going to have to talk about like your games and things like that. I don't know. Again, like Tim, you said you don't think they're going to have a very splashy E3. Who knows? I think they can't just do a
Once they
Halo-
show Scorpio, that's going to win them the conference, in my opinion. They just have to hold off to it. You know, they could announce a pre-show, but then they're going to show it anyway. But I think that they're going to just they might hold off. I would say hold off. That's going to win the conference.
people are freaking out right now. Like, show us stuff, Microsoft, show it.
You got to understand how the industry works, and that's what I think I try to understand. That's why I'm on Twitter sometimes learning, and reading things and trying to understand it. It's tough, you look at this landscape and they don't really have you could pretty much point to anywhere. I know I talked to Steve Rules, shout out to him. He knows he's very on top of the studio situation and stuff like that. He's not happy, but I think that they will get games. I think it's just going to come in 2018. I think that Scorpio has its do or die moment for Xbox, in my opinion.
All right, let's not insinuate that there's nothing, because as I just covered today, there's like I said, more of those.
Well,
AAA
I would say that they would have Halo 6, and they're going to probably have the Playground AAA, and then
You're talking about 2018.
no 2018. No, I'm thinking
They're
if
not going to announce a Playground Games racing game this year. No, Forza Motorsport 7. They're going to focus completely on that. That'll be
Unless
unveiled.
it's not a racing game, it could be like
Well,
an
then
open
you got to
world.
think of another game. Well, what other AAA are we going to get? What are they going to start?
You're talking
know.
about things like Sea of Thieves. That's going to be a pretty high caliber game.
Most
We already know that's
people,
coming out.
It's got a.
I'm talking about games after 2018. How many games do you think we'll get, dealer?
I don't know.
AAA.
Microsoft don't reach quite as hard as Sony, right? So they don't go, oh, in 50 years you're going to play this, right? So I think that they'll probably unveil a cinematic trailer or two, hopefully something for a proper Fable RPG as well, and unveil a few things that might hit this year, just like they did last year, as well as those 5 or 6 games that are of AAA quality, like I mentioned in today's video. Things like State of Decay 2 running on Unreal Engine 4, Sea of Thieves, Crackdown is still shooting for this year.
I've heard
what
amazing
else?
things about Crackdown.
Crackdowns is fucking going to mind blow. Fuck us.
A lot of that's mitigated. If it's not your bag, if you don't like those games, a lot of that is mitigated, just like it was with the PS4, when every game runs better on your platform.
Well, the majority of the conference is going to be third-party stuff. Like I would assume Star Wars Battlefront's going to be there because
What about Destiny 2? Because
Destiny 2
on the floor.
Destiny 2 is with Sony.
oh, okay. So Destiny 2. You heard it here first, folks.
Destiny 2 is with Sony, but there's a good chance Star Wars Battlefront is flipping. So that'll probably be there.
Huge.
Assassin's Creed will probably be there. Splinter Cell
Splinter Cell, I already
most
knew about
likely
that.
will be
Yeah.
there.
Star Wars Scorpio.
I mean, look, look, honestly, come on, guys. Like, we all play. I mean, hold on. Let me get my thought here because I had it for a
Get it
second.
together.
I stopped it. Like,
You're falling apart.
I know people get really like
Triggered.
fired up about the exclusives, right?
Yeah.
They get really, really fired up about
They
it.
don't matter. Let's just be honest. They don't matter anymore.
Yeah,
to be
but
honest.
like
Fanboy
most
fodder.
people play
Halo
is
6,
just
multiplayer only.
they just play the the Halo multiplayer. I mean, I love Halo multiplayer, but they honestly just play multi-platform games. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
You know, dealer. We talked about this the other day. The downloaded Sony list, right? Like.
What was Uncharted like?
Uncharted
17,
was number
18, you said?
18 or whatever. And I'm sure if you looked at Microsoft's, I'm sure Gears is probably in a similar position because the way the industry is, it's changed over the course of time. It's changed during the original Xbox era and PS2 era to the 360 to now. Things are different. The games that were popular then are no longer the drivers of the industry. I mean, the driver of the industry, if you look at what every developer talks about in every game of the year, it's fucking Overwatch. A game that is like, to me, it's like, a game that is like goes against everything I almost love about video games. Sure, the game is a quality build game. You know, it's fun to play with your friends, but like, fuck, dude, I'm someone who grew up playing single player campaigns with strong narratives and characters, and I just look at that game and I'm like, I almost think it's half a game. But you know, developers are salivating over the idea of building a multiplayer only kind of playground, stuffing it full of cosmetic bullshit that
Bro,
people
but as we
buy.
when we were talking about in the party the other day, as I mentioned, you can't just be any developer. Let's take Gearbox with Battleborn. They tried the same thing, got destroyed. They'll never do that again. I guarantee it.
Well, they also had a terrible release.
I'm just saying though, you've got to be one of the best of the best to pull that off.
And Blizzard is one of the best of the best, but I
Not
mean,
just anybody.
but
can
people,
do it. That's why I don't think
but
it's
other
difficult.
devs look up to these devs,
And they even
copy
canceled the
what they
game
do.
once, and that's what
Right.
and that's what Overwatch came from because that was
Yeah,
Titan.
it was a MMO. It was,
it was
a sequel
Titan.
to World of Warcraft. But like, look, when Uncharted became really popular, you got a lot of games that tried to ape that. When Halo got really popular, you had a lot of games that tried to ape Halo. When Call of Duty got really popular, everybody copied the fucking multiplayer RPG leveling aspect. I'm saying devs, they copy what works, and what seems to work. Right now, the one that's getting all the Game of the Year awards, all the press, all the money is that Overwatch, the multiplayer only thing. And I'm sure devs are out there, and not only devs, but publishers. I'm sure Microsoft and Sony and obviously not Nintendo because they don't care about multiplayer, but like they're all looking at this and be like, can we do something like this? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you're actually 100% right on that. I mean, if you're from a business standpoint, I mean, that makes the most sense for if you're just trying to make money. You want to release something that is online only with the least amount of dev time with a shit ton of microtransactions.
Yeah, and that's why it's up to everybody on Twitter and things to let them know that's not something you want. You know, same for if you want support for Mass Effect. We know what's coming, right? But right now they're saying there's no plans.
Yeah.
Which we know what's coming. But if you want that, tweet at BioWare and let them know that's what you want.
Be respectful though, Xbox fans. Like, look, I have to say this: there is a huge difference between Xbox fans and some of the other fans, right? Like that Kamiya when he tweeted out that the fans have been really supportive and he was expecting a lot of hate and stuff, and he hasn't really got that, right? Completely different story to like the No Man's Sky delays and other things like that. So I am proud of the Xbox community for, not going crazy and not making yourselves look bad with complete asinine comments and things like that. So props to you guys for that. As far as this E3, I think it's got to be a big one. I think Microsoft can easily, it's a tough thing because this is going to be a year without a mainline Halo or Gears. So with that being said, they do have a bit of variety coming out. Like you said, Dealer, they have, like State of Decay 2, which looks great, running on Unreal Engine 4. They're going to have Forza Motorsport 7. That's going to be 4K 60 on Scorpio. That apparently is going to be doing some really interesting stuff. We've got Halo Wars 2 coming up soon. And I get it, not everybody's an RTS fan. I happen to like that game. And by the way, they're going to be running another beta on January 20th for 10 days.
Yeah,
so,
the first beta was rough. So give it another try. If you didn't like the beta, give it another try. It's probably a lot better.
This is going to have the Blitz mode as well. So you're going to be able to try that out for 10 days. And if you log in, you get something for the actual retail release. And if you complete a game, you get something more.
Have you guys played that Halo Wars Definitive Edition? Is that any good?
I haven't played it.
Downloaded it. I played Blitz. Blitz mode is pretty good. Halo Wars 2, I think is going to be a fun game. I think it's going to actually.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna enjoy the story and be into it.
But
Dude,
yeah,
this-
those
this
games crap listed and Sea of Thieves and Crackdown.
And we're getting something
maybe another
Killer
one.
Instinct this year as well. They're obviously doing more
Yeah.
stuff post.
They'll probably be able to hit 4K 60 on that.
Yeah. I
No
mean,
problem.
they
No
do
problem.
it on the. They do
the
it on the
beginning of
PC.
this year is as fucking packed as the end of last year.
Yeah.
See
Well, I
the
mean,
list
yeah,
of
you
games
can-
Do
that
you
are
guys
coming
think
out?
that State of Decay would be 60 frames?
I
I
think
would hope
30.
so. There's no with that much power. There's no excuse to
You could-
not
that
to
would-
offer a
you could
60
just-
FPS mode on every game. There's no excuse for it. They should
And what
offer
would
on
it
every
run
game.
on Xbox? Like 7? Would it run like 900 or 7?
It would.
92?
I don't know. It's for Unreal Engine. Who
900?
knows? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, did you see? Okay.
Maybe not, though.
Did you guys like the game mode stuff, right? Which apparently is stuff that's being used on first party stuff. Basically, the what Microsoft kind of says is the target for Scorpio 4K 60 and target for Xbox One would be 900p 60 on stuff like the multiplayer. So
Are they talking about first party or third party too?
first
First
part.
party.
I
Well,
wonder what the splits are going to be from Scorpio to Xbox OG One.
I don't know, but I think that the third party that's supposed to be the target too. If you notice, we're not getting the 720p games anymore. Like nobody's really talking about it. Like even Mass Effect, that's 900p on Xbox One.
Because they're using that damn ESRAM, man. Without ESRAM, Xbox One's bandwidth is only 97 gigabytes a second. With it, it's about 197. So that's what I'm saying. At the beginning, you had some of those games where people didn't even bother. They didn't understand it even,
Yeah.
which is crazy. So Mass Effect's a big game. It looks good. It's run on the latest Frostbite.
Which
and
is
it's
a
900.
resource hog. Because if you look at that might be one of the first Frostbite games that runs at that resolution on Xbox One because it's such a fucking resource hog that Xbox One has had trouble with that. But now they're able to use a little bit of DirectX 12. I know people think it's bullshit, but it helps. DirectX 12 helped with Gears of War as well.
Star Wars Battlefront, they
Star Wars-
confirmed that it helped with that. Yeah.
Yep, and that's a beautiful looking game. So I think that's completely going to be phenomenal. But I do think we might see Halo 6 trailer won't save Microsoft's E3. What they have to do is you're going to have at least one new IP to show off. I don't think it's going to come out this year, but you better scramble and get something together to appease some of these people. The second thing is appease them a little bit more with something like Sunset Overdrive 2 and Fable Reboot. Totally reboot Fable. I think that would work best, and I think that's what they should do, and I think that's what they will do.
Smart.
Because
The Fable is something that I think could definitely work. And
We need a third-person action-adventure game. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
we
we do.
need something like
That's one of the main things that the Xbox is missing. It's really only missing a couple genres.
that's what
I think-
Scalebound
it's really-
cancellation.
Wasn't
hurts
Recore-
Now,
most.
I have a
That
question.
action-
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I don't know, but that's of a different style. That was
More
a
like
bit-
Rebore. Am I right? Come on.
Oh,
What if Crackdown becomes big and actually is huge? Will they have other cloud compute games? Do you think that's going to be like a new genre of games, cloud
It's on the
compute? Like,
developers to adopt that.
you think?
Yeah,
Well, let's say it's a big hit. How do you think the development? What do you
don't they
think
have
happens
3
after?
studios working on that game right now, Tim? Though, it's a lot of studios.
Yeah, they have
working on it.
CloudGen. They have
They got CloudGen. They got Sumo Digital, and
Yeah.
there's another one. There's a lot of
Yeah.
manpower
I would
being
imagine
thrown at
there's a lot of
Crackdown.
collaboration on that title because it's stuff that's literally never been done in gaming before
Mhm.
on games like that.
Well, if you look at Gears 4, which this should have been kind of big news for like the techies, was that the Horde mode actually uses cloud compute. That's why it can never be offline.
Yep.
Because they wouldn't be able to get the amount of things going on at the same time. It's actually using cloud compute.
Probably
Halo,
for AI.
yeah, for AI and
Characters like the swarm and that sort of thing, I believe is what it's using.
yeah, and
The
so and
Horde.
same thing with Halo 5. What is that? One of those modes is really heavily using. I think it's the Warzone.
Yeah, it's Warzone because that's the only one that would make sense for it to use it on. You have such a massive thing in AI and bosses and stuff going on there. I mean, there's no way that all that's going on in the background on the Xbox One's hardware just by itself.
Yeah, hey, you're right in the chat. Ori and the Blind Forest, or I think it's called Ori and the Night Wisps or some shit like that, right?
Night
That
Wisp.
it was supposed to be announced last year, and then they held off on it or something like that. So that will be something that we'll probably see as an announcement, and that'll be cool, I guess. I mean, Brand, you
right,
like
it'll be
Ori?
cool. It's fucking Ori and the Blind Forest is the game of the generation so far.
Well, I mean, that game is impossible. I'll just leave it at that. I don't know.
I mean,
Because you're bad at
we're
platformers.
literally about to announce the sequel to the best game of the gen. I'm ecstatic.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Inside, I mean, if I don't know, what, you want me to compare Inside and Ori? You want me to choose?
No, I'm just saying you went on and on and on about Inside.
I love Inside. It's possible to, it's possible to like a lot of games, GKB. I do like a lot of games.
I'm just saying. Bro.
But if you
You
put a gun
you
to
can
my
only
head,
choose one now.
oh, fucking Ori all day, every day. You serious?
Ori takes.
Oh, but I did want to bring up also another kind of reason or maybe why Microsoft is kind of in this position is their propensity to fucking rely on second parties to make these games.
Yeah.
Because you get a situation where, all their new IPs they tried to trot out, all of them were basically none of their own studios because they want their main studios to work on the cash cows like Halo and Gears and Forza and stuff like that. So we want some new blood. We'll get Rise, we get Sunset, we get Recore, we get all these games that didn't do well, or they did well but aren't getting sequels because basically it's not necessarily Microsoft didn't want to do a sequel because we know Rise 2 was in the works and we know Microsoft wanted to do it. It was that there was a clash between Microsoft and Crytek about it. The problem is, like, if you own Crytek or own the studio that made Rise, you just would tell them to make it. If you owned Insomniac, whoever was making Sunset Overdrive, you would just tell them to do it. Like, what if Microsoft was like, all right, we want to do Sunset Overdrive 2, but they waited too long to say anything, and Insomniac's got to pay the bills, and they're just like, we're not really feeling it. Sorry, we're gonna do Spider-Man. That's also, I think, kind of a factor here. Like Microsoft relying on other people outside of their own networks to build their new games for them. Like maybe Sony is in the right here. Maybe owning their own studios and having them build them is the right way to go. Because honestly, like it seems like they bit them in the ass, like with all this.
A couple of times, yeah.
I mean, anytime you have your own studios too, you have tighter control over the quality and what's going into your games as well. I mean, look, that's something. That's a very good point too.
Like we wouldn't even be talking about diversity or what games would be coming out because there would be Rise 2 already and Sunset Overdrive 2 and Recore 2 and all these games. Like we wouldn't be talking about this. Like Microsoft would have all the...
that BioWare thing, huh?
I mean, look, and
like
here's
when BioWare
the
got away
too,
from
right?
them and Bizarre, you
like,
know?
I mean, if you look back at Nintendo back when they sold Rare off to Microsoft, I mean, Nintendo basically did that because they had themselves in a corner like that too, where they had a lot of second parties developing a lot of their games.
Well,
and they had a lot of issues with that. I mean, look, if you look back on the history of that, Nintendo had a lot of issues managing second parties, and Rare was technically a second party at the time, where they were for a little while.
Well, let me say this because it does seem like Microsoft, they own the studios they own obviously are dedicated to a certain thing, with the exception of Rare. Rare is working on new IP, Sea of Thieves, and maybe one other thing. Turn 10, obviously, they do the Forza Motorsport series. Coalition, their Gears. 343 is Halo. Those teams are specifically going to keep doing those no matter what. Those are the surefire bets. If you're Microsoft and you look at the sales of the other games that they put out, they're not great. They're probably not worth your money or time to invest because they aren't first party. You're right. So what do they do about it? Do they just go out and build new stuff? I mean, there's only so many talented developers. You know what I mean? Like everybody's like, they need a Naughty Dog. You know, I'm like, well, there's only one Naughty Dog. I suppose.
But you can't really just compare it like that, right? Like, all these studios that are these big bad studios, whatever, right? Like Naughty Dog or 343, or even though regardless of what they're making, or if they're only making one game or whatever, these people, the studio isn't just like a set solid thing of that's just these people and that's it. That stuff, people move on, they change jobs, they change positions, they go and work at a different studio, whatever the case may be. So a lot of these games that people have fond memories of, and then the sequel comes out. The sequel probably has a handful of people that worked on the one prior to that.
And two, we're not mentioning the fact that there's new developers coming into the industry every single day, right? Maybe Microsoft have to take a few risks and take in maybe some of their portfolios and see who they think maybe they're new, maybe they never made a big game, but maybe it's time to take a risk on somebody that maybe has a good, I don't know, a project they've made to kind of show off their talents and things, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's a good point.
Already out there.
That's actually a
I was
cool
also
point.
thinking, like, I mean, we always talk about like they should pick up this studio, should pick up this studio. Why don't they just make their own studios and
That
get some
was-
really
they could do
talented
that
field
too.
people out there?
They could do that.
You know what
They should
Microsoft
do that.
You know what Microsoft should do is announce. Wouldn't that be a good E3 thing? I mean, just a little blurb. Hey, we've built 2 studios. Wouldn't that
Huge.
alleviate
Huge.
some of it? Yeah, because look, like it's little things like that. Remember at this past E3, they're like, we're adding more dedicated servers, more servers to Xbox Live. To me, it's such a small little 10-second announcement, but it means everything. You know,
Yep.
because that is
Well, we
something
need to get
that
some servers for those party chats. Am I right, dealer? When you
We've
get
been
that shit that's
complaining
over
about
8
that,
people, like, ooh, that it's like every second somebody's fucking leaving and
It's
coming.
like, man, 2 or 3 people. It's
I will
dropping.
say this. Hold on. Like, I don't know. Like, for me lately, it's been working pretty good. I was in She-Wolf. You wake up. Quick.
We're at community game time.
When we were doing the
Community game time.
the community game time, we had a full. You guys had a full party, and it was working pretty good.
Fine. Yeah.
Maybe
Someone's
it's
down.
down to 2 settings, but either way, that means they should bring those dedicated servers in for parties when they're.
I think they did, didn't they?
No, that was in preview, and then it left preview, and it never came.
Oh, okay. Well, they
So I
sure
agree. They were saying that it should be used.
I don't know much about how community game time. I know, but earlier that day, when like me and Crapgamer were playing
Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare Remastered, there was like a shit ton of people in there, and we had no issues. Like crystal clarity, nobody dropped.
Yeah, you know what? It could depend on the I don't know, maybe if it's hosted or whatever. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, like whatever they can do to improve, I'm all for it. Like they said, did you see they're already teasing improvements to Xbox Live for the upcoming year? So they never rest on the laurels, which is something that I really give Microsoft credit for. They're not like, hey, okay, Xbox Live's good enough. You know what I mean? I mean, look, people are paying $60. You want good games each month. You want Xbox Live working right. You don't want the downtime. I can remember a time where the friends list would never fucking pop up. You know what I mean? It would just
Yeah, like when people got
I'm
online.
sorry, your friends list is not available.
yeah, it was unavailable, and you're like, what the hell? And I mean, they've completely fixed that kind of stuff. Like I can't remember the last time Xbox Live has fucked up for me.
Yeah,
You
it's
know
been
what I
a
mean?
long time since I've had any issues with it. To be honest.
And but most importantly, I can change my gamer tag on there. You know what I mean? Like that's still shit you can't do on PlayStation. So I want to bitch a little bit about PlayStation because that's, you know,
But I could see Microsoft doing some stuff with Xbox Live and such things as streaming, and I think Beam is going to be a big thing for them in 2017.
what
I think
about
we're
1
gonna-
vs.
You're going
100?
to get 4K streaming. You're going to like it's going to be
Beam.
pretty cool.
They're building up. That Josh Kerwin just left Xbox to join Beam, and he's a big part of like
Dude,
Gears,
yeah.
and he
Yeah, he
left Beam, and
I was surprised about that.
I
That's
was,
pretty
I
good.
was
It's
shocked
good
when
for
that
him.
happened. And then yeah, they're doing something. They got big plans. They must have really big plans for Beam.
I
Whatever
could've
they're
sworn
doing with
GKB
it.
said this,
They
like,
got competition
Wow.
too.
KB said this. You said this.
I said they were gonna push the shit out
What
of
do
it.
you think? What do you think they're going to do with it? What do you think they got in store?
I think initially they bought it for like what you were saying, like for the tech for sure. But I think after they've got it and acquired it and saw what it really can do, and you know, people are going to get behind it. And I mean, if you watch like the development streams that they do, they're always talking about like getting people from Twitch over and all that kind of stuff. And you see Xbox streaming all the damn time on there. Like, I mean, it's obvious. I mean, once they start getting esports and stuff into there, I think it's going to blow up even more. And
Yeah,
I hope
all they
start
need is
doing-
their first esports round, a couple of rounds of on there, and
That's a tough hill to climb. That's, I mean, Twitch and
I'm
YouTube
not saying it's
gaming
going to
are
happen overnight.
the whole is so integrated that, I mean, like give them, you know, they're gonna try. You know, Microsoft's gonna promote the shit out of it. They did buy it for a reason.
I'm not saying
Hopefully they
that.
don't spend
I think
a lot of
that
time
they're
on it
building
being
it. I think they're building it. I think it's going to be pretty big. Like I said, I think that if they can announce 4K streaming, that'll be huge.
Hell, if they can do 1080p
huge.
streaming, that'd be huge because
I think they're going to go 4K.
Well, crap, that doesn't help you anyway.
I know I realize it doesn't help me. Ding, motherfucker.
But they, for guys like you guys, I don't know. You do a restream. You could do a thing where it's called restream,
Yeah,
where
you
it puts your key in and you can stream in on YouTube and wherever else, Beam all over. So
maybe I could get GKB to do that shit for me. Like, hey,
you should be Beam. You should
tell
go
you
over
that,
to Beam.
dude.
Honestly, you could show 4K gaming. You could stream 4K gaming a show.
You
That's
probably need some fucking kick-ass upload to be able to fucking stream 4K gaming.
Yeah, 4K.
yeah.
Oh, there goes me a Crapgamer's internet.
Yeah.
Already feels like it's about to break here. Just talking about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I like stream. Like, I've actually, if I had the internet to do that, like, I like it. I know people say that we're really funny when we stream because Hellhammer bitches. My buddy Grave is funny as hell. Like, he's been begging to get on a podcast. And I'm like, dude, you're a little loose on the tongue. And he's like, I don't know, man. He's like, I'm not really gonna. He's like, I'll just be the Mexican Mauler, Holmes, and I'll just like make some funny jokes and be like, Crapgamer rules. And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't believe you. Because whenever we stream, that dude gets really loose on the time. I'm like, dude, you're going to get me in trouble. People already think weird shit about me. You know what I mean? Fucking, yeah, fucking, you never know, man. After you get done with that shit, it's like next thing you know, Crapgamer fucking fucks fish and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like, seriously, man. Like, there's people think weird shit about me. It's crazy. Hey, Frank O'Connor freaked out people at NeoGaf by saying Xbox Scorpio is beefier than he thought. You know what was funny about this was Frank is a straight shooter, you know, and the fact that he said that probably is why it sent so many people off into like their little tangent or freak out.
Well,
like,
do you
Tim,
blame them? They're trying to underclock it and all kinds of stuff over there. It's only 5 T-flops now. Did you know that?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, not only that, but Scorpio is going to be delayed according to NeoGaf.
Hey guys, did you also hear
Reddit.
Xbox is getting sold off tomorrow? Imagine that.
Amazon's going to buy it, and Scorpio is going to be delayed.
No,
and,
Nintendo's buying them.
Nintendo.
I heard the latest thing was that Scorpio was only going to be 2 teraflops.
I quit Twitter.
Yeah, NeoGaf's going to try to buy them. Xbox won't be the official console of NeoGaf.
NeoGaf by Twitter.
Yes. Like Tim, what was your thoughts on that? Like Frank coming out and saying that. I mean, you seem pretty pumped about that.
I mean, well, you think either he obviously he's talking about, in my opinion, or you could, you know, think it is he's talking that, you know, he's probably heard 6, like just from the thing, and then he got the, you know, the real thing, and it was probably a little bit higher. It's probably maybe 6 something. And that's what I think he's talking about. Like maybe it could be 6.4 or whatever. But, you know, or it could be that he just didn't know and he's just that oblivious. But I can't think that a guy in his position is that oblivious. Yeah. So, you know, and this information has been out 6 months. So I think that's a good sign.
Yeah,
could be talking about the CPU too.
Constantly trying to drag it down too, right? Like they're constantly trying to drag it down. If anything, it went up a 1/10 or so of a teraflop. It didn't go down, you know, just like the PS4 Pro went up 0.1 of a T-flop before launch as well.
Yeah, and it's very unlikely that it's going to sit right at 6.00.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just all about like context, really. I think he knows like how much it was going to be like on paper, but I'm sure they probably like showed him some kind of demos, and he's just like, wow, that actually looks really
I
good.
think it's too powerful.
That or he's developing
too powerful. Yeah, okay.
He's figuring out that he's like 6 T-flops. Okay, in my mind, I think he can do this. And when he started, he's probably like, wow, I'm actually doing more than I thought I would be able to do.
I agree. Yeah. It's all about context.
Yeah. But for me, I think that you know, like I always wonder, why do Xbox people post on Gap? And I think it's to get a little bit of a screw you. Yeah, to like, well, no, like Frank was the one that said Halo 5 sold over what was it, 5 million in the first 3 months. That is like a slight little dig in the fucking knife a little bit, in my opinion. You know,
why? God forbid it does well. You know.
Yeah, you know, because people
doing good for Microsoft.
Exactly, and Frank's a straight shooter. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, you know, we could do this or we could do that, or I mean, he's honest, so people know that. And so when he's like, hey, it's beefier than I thought. I think that sent people, they were sweating. Like, I love the Jamie Moran gifts. Like, he's like, people on Gaff today when Frank says it was beefy. And it's like showing the gift with people sweating.
I love all the stuff he posts. That's all gold.
Maybe he thought it looked like a triple decker or something, like the PS4 Pro. It was beefier, you know, like beefier.
No. Oh yeah, somebody was trying to say he's talking about the console. Okay,
the console big.
Yeah. I love that one. I posted about that.
Together.
You know what I want from Frankie? I want them to uncancel that Halo Mega Box game. 'Cause that game
Oh my
was-
gosh!
Oh my god,
Hold
yeah.
on, we talked about this on BGST, and K Mega was like, "Send that to Hades," but I'm like, that shit looks
What?
awesome.
Shit,
That
man.
was awesome.
Bring that out.
What?
He sent it.
He sent
Yes,
it to
I-
Hades?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
like,
man.
"Send that shit to Hades," and I'm like, dude,
Official on
human.
him.
That looked amazing. Like I was pissed off after watching it.
yeah, like the game looks good. I
It's
don't- I
not
don't
like if they
understand.
made it, you had to buy it. Why send it to Hades? What?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a new game. I mean, a new game is a good game regardless of whether or not you personally like it or not.
I think that game had potential, man. I think that game looked really good. I mean, granted, it's a
It
vertical
offered a lot,
slice
too.
or whatever, but I thought the game looked good. I think it played good. I mean, I don't know. Like,
Multiplayer horde mode.
yeah, like, what the hell? Send that to Hades.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed, K Mega. I am disappointed.
What
might
you
have
could
been
do is
doing-
beat his ass in some Killer Instinct or something. You know what I
I
mean?
haven't played Killer Instinct in probably 2 years, but yeah, I probably could. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I get my ass handed to me. I'd suck at Killer Instinct. I don't like. I'm not good at fighting games.
Well, no, that game looked amazing to me. I liked it. I know it'll probably get some hate. I like the not the Lego games. Those are for the most part really good. There's some where they make you switch to all these different characters that you want to be, like Batman 3 or whatever. Like I didn't like that one.
Oh man, I bought that one and I was so disappointed.
Yeah, and then but I did like the Star Wars one, The Force Awakens. I thought that was
Yeah, that was
phenomenal.
actually really cool.
Those games are really funny too.
Yeah,
They're
and
really
then-
Good humor.
They're really good. So I've actually played a lot of those. I would love to play the Halo Mega Bloks one because I think that was something different. I get why maybe they didn't go forward with it because you have people that maybe would flip out or be upset that maybe that there's too many different Halo games. But I think it's different enough to maybe it could bring in a whole different audience to the Halo franchise. You know what I mean? Because look, I hate the whole thing where they name sequels now, or like Halo 6. Like to me, it should just be like Halo, Faction or Halo, Extreme. Just give it something like, like when they do the.
No, we got
Doors
to do
are
it.
ass.
It's Halo Extreme.
No, I'm just okay. Look, when they do,
Halo Extreme Mountain Biking.
You know, they could totally do a game if they did a Halo and it was like the one that they showed. Would you guys be okay with that, or would you have a serious problem? Let's
Why
be honest.
not? I mean,
I
if
would
it's a
be
different
okay with
studio, why not?
Yeah, why not?
I wouldn't have a problem with it. It would be like
I would like
double
it.
A. It looks like like you could use the Unity engine. You
It
could
would
definitely
sell just as much as those Lego games, and those things do pretty well.
you could do that. That actually is a smart idea. I would do that.
I mean, look, and
I
look,
think
if
You could just make a cheap game like
they
that.
made it, it wouldn't even be that much of a development cost too. You're thinking a very simplistic game like that, and they already have a backstory. I
You've already
mean, look,
got an engine for it and everything.
It's fucking Legos.
Yeah.
The kids. It's just,
Yeah. Well,
I think it
for
would have
me,
been like.
yeah,
I think it would have been cool to. I mean, you see Legos; they're based off all like movies and stuff like that. And I think if Mega Bloks, starting off with Halo and it took off, like that would have been kind of cool if Mega Bloks did like all kind of games and like a humorous kind of thing, and then you had like Legos. I thought it would have been a really good, cool competition between the two of them and seeing what they could have done.
Yep. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that would have been a good offshoot for them to do more games and stuff. Because Mega Bloks has the rights to like Call of Duty, they have Destiny, they have basically
I think
anything
they have Gears as well, right?
I don't know where
I don't
Gears
know
is
the
at
game
if they're doing anything like
could've
that. But I
sworn
know
there was
that
some Mega Bloks
It might be,
Gears. I
man.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I know that Lego won't pick it up because they won't do anything that's not basically like E-rated basically or PG. So I mean, basically that's why Mega Bloks owns all the rights to all that, or the marketing rights for that kind of stuff, for like the building block stuff. So I think it would have opened the door for a lot of cool stuff.
Crap!
Yeah.
Did you guys tell K Mega to go to Hades?
You know what? K Mega goes to whenever we talk about the PS4 Pro, because it just does a little bit mo, and then he sends that to Hades. But I love that saying, and I think it should be on a shirt. And I think that Mark Cerny should wear it at E3, and it says PS4 Pro.
Oh, send that to Hades.
Mo, yeah, send that shit to Hades. But yeah, K Mega is funny as hell. I love that guy. He makes a really good addition to BGST. What do you guys think about the backwards compatibility stuff that they announced? Pretty big games. Ghostbusters to me is a big one. Dragon Age Origins, Battlefield 3, Battlefield Bad Company 1 and 2, and some other ones as well. I love this. I think it's great. I know a lot of people are like, it's just, making up for their lack of games. But I like the idea that I'm able to. Here's the thing. I have these games, So now I have them, I'll have them on Scorpio. I'll have them now on my Xbox One
Forever.
S. Yeah. So to me, I think that's fucking fantastic.
Look, to
Because I
me,
got
my big thing was I almost dropped my phone when I read that tweet that they put on Dragon Age Origins. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, shit. Because I would literally play through that game a million times.
Yeah, I love, and I've never played Dragon Age Origins, the DLC expansion. So I'm gonna hop back on there. I'm gonna play off my save file or whatever, and get to play that.
Yeah, I have the Ultimate Edition, which that's the thing too. Is that it's like I didn't originally know that. Like on the Ultimate Editions, like on Oblivion, apparently, as well as a couple other games, that the DLC discs just work as well. Like,
Yo, Chris in the chat, Xbox Scorpio equals Microsoft
that's
Steambox. No, Phil Spencer actually explicitly said today on Twitter, it's a console. It's not a.
Yeah, they're not
yeah,
giving you a
it's
game
a
ring.
console.
Yeah, he said it's
That's how you
completely.
know somebody's not the smartest when they say
Yeah.
some dumb shit like that.
I mean, come on, like now what is like,
Steam boxes are just PCs that kind of look like consoles. They're
Yeah,
literally
That's
full
literally all
PCs.
it is.
and they failed because PC elitists don't want to play on something that looks like a console. They
And
want
the
to play
price
on.
was garbage. The
Yeah, they
price
want-
was garbage.
Yeah,
on all
the
those.
price was garbage, and if I want to play on something on PC, it's gonna be something I built myself.
They want to play on their hardcore rigs, and then the console guys don't want to play on PCs. They want to play on their consoles, and so that's ipso facto. That's how it works, And look, to the people that to the people that flip out and go, "There's no reason to buy Xbox or whatever because I can play it on my PC." Well, good, play it on your fucking PC, good. But I think, and as I've always said, the exclusives are the icing on the cake as far as I'm fucking concerned, right? I buy them. I buy all the ones on Xbox. I buy the one that interests me on the PS4. Nintendo's a different story. I get that especially for the exclusives. But as far as Xbox is concerned, but us as gamers, the PS4 has sold 53 million according to Sony. Let's just say that it did. It sold those on the back of multi-platform games, not exclusives. So, with that being said, those multi-platform games that people are buying the PS4 for, they could have played those on PC, but they chose not to. Why? Because they're fucking console gamers, you fuckheads. That's why. That's why. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this. Console gamers buy games on console.
I would like
It
to
doesn't
add
matter that they're on PC.
That's like an old argument too. I just
Yeah.
that argument's over and done with.
They're like they think that when they do it, they're just looking at Microsoft real slow as they're like click the download button on PC. That's the thing. Microsoft, they literally want you to buy their game on PC.
Yeah.
Why do you think they put it there? They want you to do that, moron. So that's a good thing. You're supporting the company. You're buying a copy of the game, and they get your money. So
And you're
like I
playing
said,
it
they
on
wouldn't-
a
they wouldn't
Microsoft
do-
platform still.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
Microsoft doesn't care.
They want you to do it. That's the bottom line. They wouldn't have put it on there if they didn't want you to do it.
Yeah, Microsoft would love to become Steam. You notice Valve? I think I did tune into BGST the other night, and I think Tim said this. When's the last time Valve made a game?
They don't need to.
If
said
They
they
don't
want
need
that
to,
money.
and that's exactly what Microsoft wants to do with Windows 10. Like, I'm not saying that they're not going to make any games for Xbox One or anything like that, but they would love to be in that
It's a little
position where
different. They
the
got a
money,
console and all that. So it's
the
a
money
little-
just pours in. That's what they want. That's the dream, is that they're just getting money for basically having a storefront. Just
I think even if they had
over and
unlimited
over
money,
again.
they would still use it to make games for their fans. That's
Well,
what
I'm
kind of
sure they
company I
would,
think.
but I'm just saying, like, Valve doesn't need to. I mean, they were saying, like, what was it? I remember reading it was like, it's in their best interest to not make Half-Life 3, even though people want it. It wouldn't live up to people's expectations,
Yeah.
and it's just better for them to just make hats for fucking Dota 2 and Team Fortress 2, or I mean Overwatch. I mean Team Fortress 2. I mean Overwatch. Whatever.
Are you trying to say that Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch are similar?
Am I saying Blizzard copied
trying
Team
to
Fortress
say
2 a little bit? Oh, what am I saying? I don't know. But Overwatch is so original, guys.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Oh.
can you imagine like that? Overwatch is like the biggest one game of the year last year, and that's an online-only game. Like, I don't know. To me, people are just absolutely. Hey, shout out to Magic Mike for working that chat box tonight. Relatively,
Hey, I mean,
large game.
I could have. Wasn't Overwatch GKB and She-Wolf's game of the year?
That was, I
Oh,
believe,
absolutely.
so. That was
The
definitely
shittiest
their
game,
game of the
man.
year.
I know
Yeah.
She-Wolf loved it.
She-Wolf,
I could
definitely.
just
I think
Picture She-Wolf on the desk right now, just like sleeping with like fucking drool coming out of her mouth. There's like, listen, just like, you better go check on her, GKB.
He's sick, man, so she's just taking care of him.
Hey, well, we still got almost 400 here. Hit the like button. Let's get to 300 before this shit's
Dude,
over.
is that 3 times you e-begged? Is that 3 times?
Yes.
Oh,
I,
yeah.
you know what?
yeah,
I
he-
e-beg like nobody.
He likes the e-begging.
Yeah, nobody e-begs like I do. Okay, so this Sony did a sizzle trailer for 2017, and I complained about it because in there they're like exclusive 2017, and it turns out the games in there aren't all going to be 2017. So they changed it. They removed the term exclusive to some of the games, and now they put 2017 and beyond on there. You know what I mean? So what is your guys' thoughts on that? Because for me, I think it's like about time Sony was like, you know, somebody called them out for their kind of false advertising, false hype and things like that. Because I always thought this was weird. There was no God of War, Spider-Man, Death Stranding. None of these games that they're hyping for the past like 2 years are no Shenmue 3. Like, where the fuck is that game?
You know, this kind of reminds me of something that happened a year and a half ago, probably, with The Witcher 3 marketing when it was marketed with Xbox, right? Like many games are, or vice versa with Sony. And they used PC footage or they uploaded PC footage on their thing because that's the footage that CD Projekt Red sent out, and everybody got mad, right? Meanwhile, Arkham Knight was confirmed to be running the PC version at the PS4 reveal of Arkham Knight gameplay at their E3, right? They confirmed it was running on PC. We heard nothing about that. They were able to upload all their footage to their channel, all PC version footage, all of that. We didn't hear anything about it. And it's kind of a similar thing with the media right now regarding this because they didn't say anything about Sony basically lying in this trailer at all. But if it were Microsoft, I think that it would have been hammered into the ground.
Oh man,
That's
they would have got. They would have got.
There's
the
always
pitchforks
those
Microsoft.
cases. We know that there is when people say that and they say it with such distaste, like you did, like the bullshit that it is. It's definitely there. It exists. There's many cases that that just go that are unjustified, but it is what it is. At this point, I think it's always going to be that way. But they have to win and they have to do better in spite of that. But yeah, there's a real.
They're held to a higher standard.
They are held to a higher standard. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
There's a
you know
lot
what?
of things.
I just hope that that Sony kind of does that a little bit more. Again, I don't hate Sony and want Sony to go out of business. I love, it's like Batman versus Joker. They eat each other. Yeah, they kind of beat each other, and so that's what I like. Of course, obviously, Xbox is Batman, but you know what I mean. Or if you want to compare it to Star Wars, they're the rebels, and then the PlayStation is the Empire. So
I'm sorry,
of
I'm
course-
laughing at what She Wolf said in chat.
Yeah,
I just read that too.
I'm sorry, my son is shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm a little bit I literally just had to go clean up a whole bunch of puke all off of the toilet because our 5-year-old is sick, and so I had to go clean up after him and stuff like that. So my head's not everywhere. It's not all here tonight, and I'm sorry, guys, but
It's okay.
little ones
Well, I
come
mean-
first. So
yeah, we understand. Come on, I mean, look,
We got a ton of people on this panel.
yeah, we had a ton of people, and then plus we were kind of all going on rants. And
We're
stuff like
going
that.
going on long. How long are we? It's a
Yeah,
fun
it's-
podcast, so I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I usually go about 2 hours, so we're about 10 minutes away from that. Also, the Sony announcement of 8.7 million units of Uncharted 4 being sold. Again, I want to point out that they're counting bundled digital fucking copies that McDonald's gave away. Basically, the whole everything. And I also want to point out that the main bundle that sold over the holidays was that Uncharted 4 bundle. So, what they say they sold 6.2 million over the holidays. How many of those were the bundle?
I would say
You know
at
what I
least
mean?
half of the total sales for Uncharted 4 came from those bundles.
Yes, exactly. That was my point. So you could say I still think it's a successful game. I still think it's a good game. I'm just saying people that are saying that it's better than Halo or it's on that level. I think that's saying a little bit much because I think that Halo 5 is probably 10 million or so by now.
Yeah,
But
Halo 5 also crushed 5 million in 3 months, according to the
Yeah,
studio.
according to Frank,
with 13 million Xbox Ones out there, not 50 million. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of a difference there.
The attach rates
Well,
for
hey-
Halo and Uncharted are eerily similar. like 17%.
And I know we're going to get people in the comments say, what do you mean it hit 5 million in 3 months? It was confirmed to be at 1.8 at 3 months physically. Frank O'Connor went online, right? Gaff, right? Wasn't it M4G, one of those?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
confirmed
and
that it was at 5 million in 3 months. So it did 3.2 digital in 3 months. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yep.
I don't
But
know, like,
yeah,
at the end of the day,
also,
does it like really
ahead.
matter? Like, I mean, yeah, Uncharted did good. Like, we want video games to do good. Halo did good.
Yeah,
Like, that's what we want. That's the trend. That's
well,
what
it's
we
all
wanna
about
do.
pulling out your dick
These
and
guys
measuring
don't.
it.
These guys
That's all it
don't.
is.
These guys want it all to fail, though. That's the thing. That's why we
Yeah,
have to
well,
go.
yeah. That's a good point. See, like, here's the thing. I think it's good for the industry, right? Because look, there's only 3 or 4 titles on all the platforms that really do well. You know, for PlayStation, it's like The Last of Us, Uncharted, Gran Turismo, and maybe God of War. I don't know, because God of War, the last one, didn't really do well. And then on Xbox, it's Halo, Gears, Forza, and I think it used to be Fable. I don't know. And then like with Nintendo, it's like Zelda, Metroid, Mario, Smash, whatever. Just whatever the fuck. Everything on that shit sells if it's an exclusive. And I can't say I blame them because they do a really good job with that stuff. But and yeah, I'm looking forward to the Switch stuff as well. Like I know some of you guys are asking, like, hey, are you looking forward to that? Yeah, you know what? People are already like, holy crap, how am I going to get one? Because pre-orders go live Friday.
Yeah.
So yeah, like people are saying
Nintendo with their bullshit stuff that they do.
Yeah. If you don't get your pre-orders in early, you probably not going to get
Yeah.
one.
It's like they don't want to sell.
I know.
It's like-
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
they don't want to take your money.
You know what? We don't even care if we sell. Well, here's 3.
Yeah.
You know, like
Microsoft should totally do that. Microsoft should go, yeah, you know, the Scorpio is going to be great and all, but we're only going to have limited numbers at launch. So you better get them pre-orders
it's gonna be
in.
phenomenal, but you motherfuckers gonna be killing each other by the time
Yes,
you get.
you're gonna fucking have to camp out. You know what I mean? Like, look, and I fucking camped out for an original Wii. You know, like
Really?
that was, yes.
Wow.
It wasn't for me. It was for
Yeah.
Hellhammer.
You damn corporate slave.
I know, right? Well, here's the thing. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had, right? Because I went to this at Circuit City, in which they don't exist anymore, and this is 2006. And I was camping out. It was going to be Hellhammer's Christmas present that year, and he really wanted one. And so I camped out there. And it was really cool because you get to meet all these other gamers, and there was like an old couple there camping out for their grandkids or whatever. I didn't have a chair because I'm a fucking idiot. So they're like, you know what? We feel bad for you, guy. You could go to Walmart, get yourself a chair, and then come back with it. So that's what I did. And then I went there, and then I got it. And then I actually escorted the older couple out to their car because at that time people were like kicking your ass for these things when you're walking them out to the fucking parking lot. I'm a big fucking guy, so I just walked these guys out there. I'm like, you know, I'm gonna fuck with you. You know, I'll just go out there with you. So I walked them out there, and I got this thing. Those fucking, they only had like 12 there, but luckily I got one. And I can see the same thing happening with the Switch. I think that a $250 price point, which apparently this thing is all but confirmed to be $250, which is a fucking.
It's just
that's a fucking.
It's just a NVIDIA Shield tablet that's souped up with Nintendo. Oh,
Yes, that's a fucking phenomenal price. And you know, let's say you can play Skyrim on the go or whatever. Like, I think that's cool as shit. You know, I mean, what's your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, just turn in real quick before we end the show, like on the Switch.
I'm getting that thing day one, man. I think it's really cool. I think it's going to do some really cool stuff. I'm just worried about like third-party support and games in general for it. We've heard some stuff about like, you know, $250. I think the base, for sure is $250. But we've seen some other stuff like the Walmart guy was saying like $399. So they probably have some like bundles out there with a couple of games or something. That's going to be kind of cool.
I think they'll have a version without the dock, and that'll probably be $250. Without
you think so? You think $299 with the dock?
I know the dock is basically it overclocks or it activates full megahertz to basically increase resolution for your home TV when it's actually planted in the dock.
I think the dock is going to come with all the variants.
It very well could be.
It's going to be all the variants, and the reason why $250 works on that is because you got to look at the base price of a Shield tablet's $200, and that's old hardware. This is basically using the same kind of hardware and tech in it. So at this point, they're getting away with manufacturers selling that plus the dock $250 easily all day. I think that the variance that we're going to see is I think that there's going to be a variance in the storage space. It's going to be built into the system, just like there always is for everything.
That's
and
interesting.
Could be, docks with all, maybe they'll have an undocked version later to drop the price, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to come till later because I think Nintendo wants this thing to be out there and be accessible and be usable as they advertised it. The whole thing is that it's the Switch that's supposed to be you take it with you, and then you dock it at
Yeah.
home and play your game.
You said accessible, except that's the farthest from the truth of what it's going to be because.
Oh no, I mean because of the
most people aren't going to be able to get one, and then they'll be up on
No,
eBay
yeah.
for.
They're going to be selling
$800.
those. Yeah, they're going to be selling.
I'm just saying that they wanted it as such to where people just see it how they see the ad. They want people to go do it, basically.
Yeah, that's true.
It's going to be a clusterfuck. It's going to be a cluster. Pre-orders open up on Friday, right?
Yes.
The rumor. It's going to be a clusterfuck, and I am happy. I don't give a fuck about Nintendo at all. Period. End of story. It's Xbox all day for me, and maybe PlayStation if I had something to fall back on. I am planning on getting a PlayStation, but I would probably never ever go to Nintendo. I would be like, all right, PC, let's do it. It'd be in that order: Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and then nothing after that.
I mean, look, I'm really interested in it, and I would like to get one pre-ordered. If I don't have the time to go down there and I'm going to miss out on it, then I guess Nintendo will just have to wait for my money.
I would love to see pictures of Crap and GKB and everybody standing out waiting in line for those pre-orders. I can just imagine Crap being like, rack 'em
I'll do it,
up.
bro.
Just taking turns escorting old ladies.
I'm racking up this pre-order. Let's do it.
Whoa, hold on. Chances are the picture would end up being me standing in line waiting for it.
GKB, why you sending her out to go stand in line? Oh, man.
Hey, man, I gotta do what I gotta do, bro. I gotta get things done.
To his credit, he did get that NES Mini. He was one that, he was the one that actually bought that. It was because he tweeted out the picture, or whatever. He's like, here it is, and I still haven't been able to find one of them fucking things.
And I was the 10th one in line for it. Oh yeah.
Were you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like right in front of me. We're trying to get through.
You still can't find that system even now.
No,
Which is
it's
so
ridiculous.
funny. Which is so funny because my mom, she works at Walmart in Canada, and she said that like just before she came down to visit, her store had just got 4 of them in. And I'm like, why didn't you grab them? And she's like, I didn't know you guys wanted them.
Damn.
I told you the other day they opened up on Best Buy's website, and they're up there for about 3 hours before they sold out.
Really, 3 hours? Damn.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you make 18 of something and sell it across the nation. Shit.
That's true. That's what they're doing with the Switch too.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm looking forward to that thing. I'm excited. Did you see like some of the launch titles, like Zelda launch title, a new I don't know, some kind of other game. I don't know. Let me see what the hell this thing is.
And look, guys, if you don't hit that like button, this show might be canceled like Scalebound and Halo Mega Blocks. Oh, wait, too soon?
Yeah, you can save Xbox Nation by hitting that like button.
Yeah, it'll get canceled like the exclusive Reblocks game coming to Xbox.
Mega Bloks Halo game, or the Gears of War Kinect game.
Roblox 2 exclusive.
Yes, it's gonna be. Oh, Roblox is my least favorite game on Xbox. I'm just saying.
You know this.
They literally just hijack music straight out of YouTube and they just play it in the background.
You know how many people played that game?
What, Roblox?
A lot.
You know,
Kids play
60
it
million. I
constantly.
heard.
Kids play
it a lot, and there's a lot of inappropriate games on there that kids should not be allowed to play.
There's games on there I don't even know how to fuck it. There's this one that's okay. It's like this jumping game where you just run and jump.
You said
through
it's
different
okay.
levels.
Like,
You
we
jump.
have our 9-year-old, she comes walking, because that's their favorite game. It's our kid's favorite game. And my 9-year-old comes walking up to me, and she's like, oh, so we made babies on the game today. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh,
It had
what?
a money shot button and everything. I hit it. I got bonus points. I don't know.
No, there's some very inappropriate. And then, like, she was getting all mad because some guy kept going into her house, stealing all of her stuff and her clothes and everything, like, literally off her character. So her character was standing there naked. Even though they're just, like, this weird block-looking character, I'm like, that's still not right.
They should
Now
register
I'm
that
having
in their
flashbacks
heads.
to those articles about it was a video that H3H3 did about this woman who was like trying to like sue somebody because she was like virtually raped in Grand Theft Auto 5 or whatever.
I remember
You guys know what I'm talking about?
Wow.
Yeah, I've seen it.
She spilled some
Oh,
coffee.
God.
on
Like,
herself
they,
and
like,
drank the
And,
photo.
and then if you go to H3H3's channel, it's like, you know, the news is like, and you can play Grand Theft Auto 5, and hackers will mod it so your character stands still, and your clothes will be removed, and people will come up to you and go back and forth simulating sex against your wishes. And I'm just like, oh my god!
Only
and
on the
they,
PC version, though.
and they play it like it's like straight too. Like, this isn't a joke. It's like if the fucking CNN did a news report on it and just played it straight. Like, it's It's something else.
Like, wow, I didn't know that. I mean, you learn something new every day.
The more you know, the more you know.
Yes, that is
Crazy fucking PC gamers.
You're gonna trigger people, dude. The only people that get triggered easier than PlayStation fans are the PC fans.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I'm a PC gamer myself, somewhat. So
Whoa, somewhat, huh?
Oh yeah,
I mean, 99% as you guys know and see every day, I'm on Xbox 99% of the time. So.
Yeah.
Well, Hellhammer's one of those PC dudes. He always fucks with me. He's always
We got to get him over to the Xbox side fully, get him off of that.
Hellhammer is an Xbox boy, but he'll be like, I got them 60 frames of Forza Horizon 3.
Trollhammer.
Yeah, I mean, he trolls that.
Are you buying the Scorpio, Hellhammer?
Oh yeah, why wouldn't I?
Day one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick.
I will say that Hellhammer's one of those rare people that loves Play Anywhere, which is cool. Like, it doesn't
I
really.
love it. I love it
agree.
too. I love. Give me a free game. I'll play 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Like, I get it.
No,
Like,
it's not a PlayStation Beta title, so it's not a good thing,
it's-
and you can't brag about it at all.
It's a free game. It's a free game. I'll take it any time of the day.
I get it 100%. I'm down with it. It's just like, for me, it does nothing, but I get why people like it, and so I'm for it. Like, I'm not like, the options are fine. I like the fact that that there's options and things like that. So I'm always happy with that. So I want to go ahead and end the show. Let's see, we've got GKB. Go ahead and tell us what you got going on, bro.
Oh crap! You put me on the spot. Let's see. I got
You're
the
the
Shop
most senior
Podcast.
member.
Oh my god, dang! It's gotten to there.
I
huh?
know. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody, it's GKB. You can find me at Gamers Knows Best, YouTube, Twitter. I'll be on Shop Podcast on Saturday, back on Console Corner. Next week's my week of videos, so there's going to be a whole bunch of shit coming out.
The drive vlog.
So
Yep.
tune in to watch GKB crash into a semi.
You might see me like rage and
talk
shit,
about, oh
but-
fuck shit.
You might see me rage out on some people and shit like that, but I'm not going to crash.
Yeah. You know what, GKB, like, you did a pretty good rant on Scalebound yesterday. I'd like to see you do a rant video once in a while on your channel, just saying.
I'll see what I can do with it.
T-Wolf, what's going on with you?
So right now I actually have videos coming out this week all about the games with gold, the cave. So I have like different reviews, and there's achievement video type style up right now. Also on Saturday we have community game time. We're playing Destiny at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. And of course you can just find me on Xbox Live and hanging out on Twitter at XGWolfX with a U, not an O.
Yes, and you did the Ladies Night podcast on Monday, which was pretty good if anybody missed it, because BGST happened to be delayed from Sunday to Monday, so we ran the same time as you guys. So if any of you guys missed that, it's a pretty damn good show.
Sabotage.
Yes, it wasn't really intentional, but
It's all your fault.
I did.
It was the Giants, the
We're all
debacle.
watching that football.
Yeah, it was the football stuff on Sunday. That
Yeah, and then Alabama lost anyways. So
Why do you have to bring that up, She-Wolf? Why do you have to bring it up?
because,
Fucking gonna piss me off now.
because that was an epic loss.
How do you lose in the
Like-
last second? I'm just
Well,
saying.
Because
Yeah,
the
really, how the
retard. Okay,
Oh, you know how they
hold-
fucking
hold
lose in
on.
the last second?
Hold
It's
on a
because they
minute.
can't play fucking football the whole fucking 60 minutes. That's why.
hold on a minute. No, if
Give
that
me Randy
retard
coming.
would not have grabbed him on the freaking that one pass, they would not have lost. But of course, he had to get the foul, or whatever the heck, the penalty.
foul.
Yeah, the foul.
You got the foul.
The
She's
foul.
Canadian, people. She's Canadian.
Yeah. Anyways, so he wouldn't have got the flag if he wouldn't have grabbed onto the other guy. So Alabama lost themselves. Like, that guy should be.
Yeah, because they
kicked off
can
the
fucking play
team.
football. Of course they fucking lost. They fucking suck.
Well, is that what
Oh,
happened? Was
That's-
it pass interference that the guy could have probably just tackled him? I didn't personally see it.
He
I-
grabbed. Okay, what happened was it was like
They
they
just
were
wrapped him
second
up.
down.
Interference, like whatever.
Yeah, but he should. Come on, you don't
No, but besides the
grab
point,
someone
though,
around
besides
by
the
the
point.
waist.
If they would have got
at the end of the
15
game.
fucking touchdowns like they should have gotten,
Well, they went up 14-0. They went up 14-0.
God
And
damn
that
it! It
was
sounds
it.
like we need a rant video from both of you about that.
I know.
It sounds like GKB is a bit triggered by this.
I am fucking triggered
Yeah,
by
he
you.
loves Alabama.
What's
You won the
what are you more
last 4
triggered by,
years.
GKB?
It's-
The
you'll be
Alabama,
back.
Alabama thing or Scalebound? What's got you more? What's worse?
Well, it was scaled
Sounds
down
like-
before. But now it's fucking Alabama. Alabama.
Yeah, because GKB was like roll tide before the game.
Alabama can't
And
never
I was like,
hide.
no. I was like, he's an Alabama fan, okay.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, they lost, and I was like, huh.
So do you think maybe if you didn't tweet out Roll Tide, they would have won? Maybe it's your fault they lost.
No, it's because Phil fucking canceled Scalebound, so it fucked up my whole weekend. So that fucked up. Blame it on Phil, goddammit. It's Phil's fault.
Phil the X-Man. X-Games everywhere. No game is safe.
Want to hear something funny about him in football though? When we used to watch the Broncos, we would always have this thing where whenever he watched, they would lose. But if we missed that that week, they would end up winning.
That used to happen to me with the Ravens too. So I would stop watching, and then they'd win.
You do know that what happened with Phil right before he canceled Skillbound. He looked at your bar and he said, "I'm about to fuck with GKB real hard."
He really fucking did, bro.
That's exactly.
I take that personally, Phil. Fucked up, bro.
All right,
And then
if you had to choose, if you had to choose Scalebound,
He's about to say stop.
Scalebound to be re-energized and to release, or Alabama win. Which one? Do you
Alabama fucking win all day. Let's go.
pick?
Come on, it was a
I would
national
take a giant win.
championship.
Yeah.
There you go.
He'll be back there, though.
Alabama for the
Okay, rant over.
If that coach comes back, you're back in it.
Yeah, they're always fighting. Troll Hammer, what do you got going on, bro?
Oh, not much. Be back on here next week. Otherwise, I can be found on Xbox Live or Twitter, XXL Hammer.
Or you could be found not doing videos on your channel. So
Oh yeah, that was my New Year's resolution, not to do any videos again.
man, you're gonna nail it, bro. Rand Outdoor, what do you got going on, man?
Yo, well, unlike Hellhammer, I'm actually putting videos on my YouTube channel.
Damn, you're gonna
So I'm
sit
the
there and take
opposite.
that Hellhammer?
Yeah. I remember when Hellhammer was like, yo, bro, got my YouTube channel made, and then I went and did it and actually have like 60 videos up in that amount of time. What's up, bro? What's up, Hal?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I don't know.
Hellhammer?
I'm just too lazy to do it. I mean, that's
Yeah,
not
I mean,
true.
I just recently
Trolls are
posted
lazy.
a review of a game that came out today on Xbox One, Nevermind. It's a pretty fucking surreal game where you delve into the mind of these patients that block out their memories, and it's some pretty fucking serious shit. Like,
Yeah.
there's some really serious like shit in that. So.
Easy
You're
gamer score?
basically playing
Oh,
as like
dude, you know
Neverland Ranch escapees, is what you're saying.
Dude, I'm like, I don't want to spoil it for everybody. We're talking like, yes, there's some serious shit. But no, yeah, easy gamer score, 3 hours, 4 hours, $20 though. So, check out the review on my channel if you want, and check out TXR podcast because it's
Yes.
pretty good.
It's easy when you get 4,000, right?
4,000 gamer
Gamer
score?
score? Yeah. What is it? How fast is it?
I mean, like 4 hours or so, give or take.
Yeah, it's not bad.
You're up to like what 7,000 game score you got now?
Yeah.
No,
What are you at?
26.
He's at a million. He's at a million.
1,077,000, I think.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Def Jam Bam going to call me out
Don't
for
worry,
media
at some
player.
point I'll be rolling past back crap. When I'm at 77,000 right now, I'll get past crap and I'll be above them. A million and then plus.
Hey,
Once you hit a million, you don't have to.
if they gave
Eventually, you're gonna
score-
start getting them achievements with your TV off, right? Before you
Yeah.
start depressing anybody.
if they gave me gamer score for the media player, man, I'd be kicking all your asses. So yeah. Absolutely. Tim Dog, what do you got going on, man?
I think I have Xbox Uncut Friday, BGST Sunday, TXR Monday. Follow me on Twitter. He's
Yeah, he's got 10,000 fucking followers, man. Unbelievable. Here I am, most compelling YouTuber, and I've only got 6,500.
Once you hit 10, it's good because they don't like update past. It just says 10. It's double digit.
Yeah.
No, I just like the way 10 looks, so I don't even look at it anymore, really.
Yeah,
Just see
I
the
mean, that's
10.
pretty fucking sick. That's awesome. And
Yeah.
Dealer,
Shout out to all the followers. Thank you.
yes. Dealer, what do you got going on, man? I appreciate you joining us, man.
No problem, brother. You guys are bragging about Twitter users, man. I got like 8, man.
Hey, make sure you motherfuckers follow Dealer and check out
Yeah,
his.
in my own defense, I did just start using it. So yeah, @dealer_gaming, and I'm not so used to these outros, but YouTube obviously @dealer gaming as well. Do a lot of tech news, things like that. That's kind of my bag, as well as anything Xbox. Definitely a console dude. So.
That's because now you do videos with Next Gen where he just like ends the shit and doesn't give anybody a chance to say anything. So
Well, I don't know. Even when he does, you know, I don't really even throw it out there either. You know,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I do
when I
appreciate it.
Yeah, I asked Dealer. I was like, "Hey, man, you can come on. I get a decent sized audience." And he's like, "Man, I don't care. I just do it if nobody watched even." And I was like, "Well, we'll see if we can one up you on that and get some people to watch." So, thank you guys all. This was a hell of a show. Good discussion. So thank you guys all for joining us. We'll catch you next week. Hey, don't freak out. RELAX.
Too late, bro.
Okay.
Don't
Xbox.
trigger.
GRIGG.